And just a while ago, my director gave me a compliment. He told me that I was looking beautiful, and that was a perfect prompt for me to start the show. And so you're welcome to the Monday edition of the AM show live on Joy News right here. And of course, it's a Monday edition of the show. And it's quite a chilly Monday morning, but it offers us an opportunity to try again, to move again, and thrive. And so it doesn't matter how bad your weekend went. Well, it's a Monday morning. Get up and let's try again. You never know, we may win this time. And so that's how I'm welcoming you to the show. But let me give you an overview of how the show will be looking like. We'll begin with the AM news, which I'll be bringing you. And of course, we'll have the AM Sports and our news review segment where Kamaldeen Abdullahi, who's the Deputy Director for Communications for the NPP, and Hamza Sayini, who's a legal practitioner and member of the NDC's communications team, will be joining us for the news review segment. And then for our big stories, we bring you a Joy News Hotline documentary shedding light on the dark underworld of substance abuse in Ghana, revealing how ghettos like Thinker Island and Colombia and Kumasi have become hotbeds of addiction, crime, and despair. You don't want to miss this fascinating documentary and the discourse following it. And then, of course, Derek and Jackie, your favorite duo, who have been missing in action for a couple of weeks, will come in with a big bang, bring you all the trending issues that you've got to know. You just can't miss this show this morning. And so you want to join us with your thoughts and views via phones and our, social media platforms as well. You want to stay with us. The AM show is sponsored by Syntex Tank. Syntex Tank, I get strong, I get tough. And shortly, I'll be joined by MFA Adeti and Kojo Brace as well. My name is Noella Karen Yali. We have a packed show ahead. Stay tuned in. You're welcome back to the AM show, but of course, this is the AM news brought to you by myself, Noella Karen Yali. Now, September 2 is just around the corner. Akwatia will once again be the eye of the nation. The town returns to the polls to choose a new MP after the sudden death of the NPP's Ernest Kumi. Already, police are anticipating heightened tension and have deployed personnel to keep the peace. In just 9 days, residents will have the chance to vote again. But what exactly is at stake? There's more on the following report.
96, Akwatia's parliamentary seat has been a political battlefield. 4 wins for the NPP, 3 for the NDC. In the last election, Ernest Kumi scraped through with just over 2,000 votes for the NPP. But what should have been a routine declaration turned into hours of delays, heated disputes, and bitter accusations. The NDC still insists they were the real winners.
That result is neither here nor there. It's completely rejected. It will be treated with contempt, and we don't consider Akwatia completed.
Now, the contest is back on. Lawyer Bernard Bediaku Beidu is leading the NDC's charge, while the NPP is banking on Solomon Kwame Esumedu. But the stakes are higher this time. For the NDC, victory will secure an unprecedented 2/3 majority. For the NPP, defeat would cut deeper into their already fragile 88 seats in parliament. The ground is tense.
Saying is that for the new patriotic party, we are going to protect ourselves.
600 police officers have been deployed.
They are going to soften the ground. We want to assure you that the police will deal decisively with those people. And I think their cowards, they cannot come.
With more than 52,000 voters set to decide, this by-election is shaping up to be far more than just a local contest. It is a fight for pride, power, and political survival. For the NDC, the aim is to win.
They won NDC. NPP, look, when you are looking at the dissent, it tells you that something is wrong with the NPP in that constituency.
For the NPP, the mission is not to lose.
if you take the budget of the NDC for 2025, there is no any plan for the good people of Akwatia.
For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
Now, former Vice President and 2024 presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has pushed back against what he describes as tribal politics targeted at him and his wife, Samira Bawumia. Now, speaking at the 30th anniversary celebration of the NPP's USA chapter, Dr. Bawumia questioned why his northern roots have suddenly become an issue now that he has sought the party's flag bearership. Now, the former vice president lamented that some presidential aspirants and their supporters have resorted to tribal and religious narratives as campaign tools against his ambition. He stressed that such divisions threaten the party's unity and could derail its chances in future elections.
As we prepare to go into the primaries, I am very, very concerned and troubled that some of our presidential aspirants have embarked on a religious and tribal bigotry and propaganda against me in a desperate attempt to win votes. They totally ignore all the data and findings about why we lost the 2024 elections and want to mislead the delegates and the party with such propaganda. The one such issue that has come up, and I think it's important for all of us to know, is the Mamprosi-Kusasi conflict. An aspirant has said that delegates should not vote for me because I am a Mamprosi man, and that we will lose votes in the Kusasi areas and other areas. This is very unfortunate and demonstrates a complete lack of understanding of the situation on the ground.
Now, this is what triggered a response from Dr. Bawumia. Now, Abetifi MP Brian Echampon was captured in a video accusing the former vice president of being the reason the NPP lost woefully in Boko. The former Agric minister said the party lost in Boko because he is a Mamprosi.
President Kufuano, we need MPP vote Kusasi. We need MPP vote Mamprosi. President Kufuano, we need MPP vote Kusasi. And we need MPP vote Mamprosi. And this answers to college rank of me. I am a Fabaku and Yapa. And in 2024, about 1 quarter, a free OT. Ediko upper east, upper west, and northern, upper western region. The Lucy is a woman. It's only power. And if you are a victim of circumstances, it's not your fault. I may know anything. But we cannot wait. This situation, we and I have one prize on him, which we have solved in 2028. But the suspicion will not go away. And MPP will not be held ransom and stay in opposition because of this matter.
Away from that, the Human Resource Manager of the National Youth Authority, Daniel J. Okai, has disclosed that although the program has received over 115,000 applications since its launch in April 2025, the pilot phase will accommodate just 10,000 beneficiaries from all 16 regions of Ghana. Now, speaking at the closing ceremony of the 3-day matriculation for trainees, Mr. Okai emphasized that participants will undergo training in 9 priority trade areas, which strategically equips young people with skills that drive Ghana's socio-economic development.
The matriculation for trainees under the National Youth Apprenticeship Program in the Central Region has officially ended. The 3-day event projected that more than 15,000 youth in the region are expected to participate in the program. Daniel J. Okai, The Deputy Human Resource Manager at the National Youth Authority shared that the program has received over 115,000 applications since its official launch in April 2025.
Since the launch of the program in Tamale on 30th April 2025, over 115,000 applications have been received by the Secretariat. In this pilot phase, however, the program targets 10,000 beneficiaries from all of 16 regions of Ghana in phases. These beneficiaries will be trained across 9 priority trade areas, identified through labor market analysis and stakeholder consultation. Together, these trade areas cover both traditional and modern sectors of our economy, ensuring that no region and no talent pool is left behind. Let me also assure all applicants who have not yet been shortlisted that there is no need to reapply. Your applications are still valid and you'll be onboarded into the program as the skills up and as more MCPs are accredited and enrolled into the National Pool of Training Providers.
The Cape Coast Mayor, George Justice Arthur, acknowledged the novel nature of the program scale.
The scale of this program is unprecedented in Ghana's apprenticeship history. For the first time, beneficiaries are not only being matched to certified master craft persons and training providers, but are also guaranteed personal protective equipment, learning tools at the beginning of their training, and startup toolkits, and continuous mentorship at the end of their training, enabling them to transition smoothly into self-employment and small enterprise development. To our apprentices, I urge you to commit to this journey wholeheartedly. Each of you represents a seed of potential.
The Central Regional Coordinator of the National Apprenticeship Program, Ebenezer Abeku Essien, urged the master craftspersons to support their apprentices.
I would like to encourage all master craftspersons to mentor and support their apprentices. This program will be closely monitored and ensure that it delivers development and all expectations. The master craftsperson has been advised not to use the apprentices as laborers, but rather to impart knowledge and provide proper training for the beneficiaries.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Olisel and Koma report for Joy News.
Now, management of the National Apprenticeship Program has commenced a rollout system to provide decent, employable and entrepreneurial skills to 10,000 Guinean youth. Now, Mukramatu Ahmed, the Deputy National Coordinator for the National Apprenticeship Program, indicated this at the Ahafu Regional Matriculation and Induction Ceremony for the pioneer beneficiaries of the program in Gorso over the weekend. Ahafu Regional Correspondent Emmanuel Edijemfi has more.
For the first time in the history of our country, Ghana is witnessing a true comprehensive national apprenticeship program. For the first time, government is not only absorbing the full cost of training fees, but also providing workplace insurance for all beneficiaries, monthly stipend to ease their burdens, personal protective equipment to ensure their safety, and startup kits to guarantee that they leave training ready to work or start their own business.
Over 115 applications have been received by the Secretariat. However, in the pilot phase, the program targets 10,000 beneficiaries from all 14 regions of Ghana in phases. Mrs. Mukramatu Ahmed sounded the word of caution to beneficiaries and trainers.
Any apprentice who deliberately abandon the program midway will not only fortify the opportunity, that will also place a financial burden on the guarantors, who will be required to refund the cost of investments made on their behalf to the states. To our mastercraft persons and training providers, you are entrusted with shaping the skills and attitude of our apprentice. We expect you to uphold the highest standard of professionalism, fairness, and discipline.
These beneficiaries will be trained across 9 priority trade areas identified through labor market analysis and stakeholder consultation. Charity Gardner, the Ahafo Regional Minister, is optimistic that the program will empower young women in Ghana. Alaji Collins Dauda said the program is prioritized to become an impulse substitution initiative.
That could be also called a very so. Now, I can give you some more that actually made in Ghana.
Away from that, the Techiman North District is set to unlock a new stream of income and create hundreds of jobs with the launch of a multi-food processing factory. The project, spearheaded by the Minister of Trade and local MP Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare, will primarily utilize the previously discarded cashew apple, transforming it into valuable products for the market. And Asabit has more.
For generations, the people of Techiman North have lived off the cashew nut. But for every nut harvested, a juicy vitamin-rich cashew apple was left to rot, a symbol of wasted potential. That is until now, as this considered waste is now seen as a golden opportunity, with a new factory set to transform the local economy by harvesting the power of the forgotten cashew apple. Member of Parliament for the area and Minister for Trade, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare, believe this will enhance the livelihoods of the people here.
As MP for Techiman North, one of the biggest things we do here is the production of cashew nuts. But we only harvest the nut and throw away the cashew apple. It's also of value, medicinal value. It's also good for refreshment. And so I've always been thinking of how I'll process the cashew apple so that we can have value extension for our cashew. And so today I'm here to cut a sword for the construction of a factory to process cashew apple. And I'm hoping to finish this early enough for the next season. And so I hope that this will be good. It's going to create jobs for our youth. It's also going to give more money to our farmers, because hitherto they're throwing away the cashew apple, but now they are going to buy it.
The factory's model is designed for sustainability, processing cashew apples during the main season and pivoting to other locally grown fruits like watermelon during the off-season. This promises a stable income stream and a massive boost to the local economy. A smart move that has the entire community excited.
The original fruit that we've decided to process is cashew apple, but we will tweak the machine so that in lean season we can process other fruits like watermelon. And so we want to make sure that it's running around the clock. Another 24-hour economy, another resetting agenda, another job for our people.
Oheniba Jumo Ampemdakon is the anchor behind here. He says the community is ready to give its utmost support to the project and called on other investors to take advantage of the available lands in the area for similar developmental projects.
Today, in fact, we are very happy to have such an occasion like this. And we know that this project will create a job for the youth, the community around us. As I mentioned earlier, the youth are around. So in terms of any activity that they would need, we will try to bring the boys in to come and support the project.
But perhaps the greatest excitement is amongst the youth who see this as a direct path to financial empowerment and a reason to stay and build their futures right here at home.
We were excited when we
heard about this new cashew factory. It will help us in diverse ways financially, and it will also help the youth in getting jobs to do. And so this is the time we will have to increase our effort in our farming businesses. From a symbol of waste to a beacon of economic hope, this factory promises to not only process fruit, but to process the very future of Techiman North, turning potential into prosperity, one cashew apple at a time. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Tamabuase.
And that's it for the first part of the news. But of course, Samuel Kujibreis has got some updates in the world of business. Stay tuned in.
First story now, and the trading community has called on government to enhance security, especially at night, as the 24-hour economy takes off smoothly at the country's ports. According to the public relations officer of the Ghana Union Association, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Joseph Paddy, although they welcome the initiative, issues about security and road infrastructure are of great concern to them, which ought to be looked at to ensure seamless operations at the ports. Mr. Paddy spoke to Joy Business.
Before this announcement, we had a meeting with the Brigadier General when he made his intention clear to us that he want to make the Techiman port 24-hour. We agreed, which was a welcome news. But there were some few questions we were asking, and they said some of the questions were like, are the other agencies on board? Are they also coming to be on board, especially with the banks, with our standard authority, and then the EPL, where some products need to go through those systems? And he gave us that assurance that he's going to bring all of them on board. And if they have announced, why we welcome this idea is that, in trade facilitation, we talk about cost of doing business, and we talk about ease of doing business, and we talk about time of doing business. We talk about time of doing business. These are all the components that facilitate trade. So when the Commissioner General promises that they're going to make a 24-hour economy to the port, we all welcomed it. But some of the questions we're asking is that we're looking at security. How secure is the environment as we trade in the night? And we're looking about our lighting system. When street light, when you are traveling from Tema to Accra, you look at the motorway, how dark the place is. So these are some of the few things we're asking. And then we also spoke about the road from the port to Tema. And recent time, we've seen that road has been fixed by the Brigadier General. The road, the runabout that leads to the port, they've tarred the road, which we think he's doing very well. So we welcome this idea as it's coming on board, and we'll patronize it based on the few things that we see. If we are sure of our security in the night, why not? We're going to patronize it because it's going to give ease of doing business and the timing of doing business to be adhered to. So these are some of the few things we buy. It's a good news and it's a welcome news. We see how it works.
Away from that, government has reiterated its commitment to driving digital transformation as a catalyst for business growth and continental integration. Deputy Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations, Mohamed Adam Suparu, emphasized that Ghana's ability to thrive under the African Continental Free Trade Area after will depend on harnessing digital technology, fostering innovation, and strengthening partnerships. He made the remarks at the official launch of Rosebank University College in Ghana.
Era defined by digital transformation, where the future belongs to those who can harness technology to create solutions for pressing social and economic challenges. RIUC is uniquely positioned to contribute to this vision by focusing on cutting-edge research, digital innovation, and practical skills development. The university will serve as a hub where bright minds are nurtured to become the innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders of tomorrow. Technology, innovation, and human capital. Our ministry firmly believes that technology is the great equalizer It breaks barriers, connects people, and creates opportunities.
And that's it for the AM News. Up next is AM Sports. You stay.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AM Sports here with me, Muftaru Nabila Abdullah. The curtains for this year's Joy Sports Invitational Tournament came down at the University of Ghana Stadium on Saturday, August 23. 51 companies, 8 trophies, 50 medals were handed out to participants. And guess what? In the end, it was PWAC Natural Health that walked away with 4 gold medals. MPA and ARB Apex Bank won 3 gold each. My colleague Joseph Ayinda Walter has details in this report.
The day began with a vibrant health walk led by the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra.
He doesn't take too much to drink.
Flanked by his family and hundreds of corporate athletes. The 5-kilometer walk set off from the stadium, winding through the University of Ghana campus before returning to the venue. What followed was an energy-sapping aerobic session. This event was about running, and then the ceremonial kickoff. Mr. Debra got the games underway with host multimedia group facing Heritage Christian University. This year's edition, though, enjoyed the strong backing of partners, including the Minerals Commission, Royal Sweet Limited, Ayuda Hub, the Game Energy, Yomi Yogurt, The Luckiest, and Promo World. Their support helped turn Ghana's biggest corporate sports day into a spectacle. On the football field, Goy Oil Company Limited stole the show. Under the floodlights, they held their nerves to beat SIC Insurance Company 3 goals to 2 on penalties and lifted the cup.
You know, to begin with, when you have a game of this nature, you need approval from the top. And to be honest with you, our management members, our group MD, CEO, Mr. Edward Abambiri Bawa, has been very, very supportive. And he's been with us for just some few months. And interestingly, he has bet us a momentous trophy. And this shows that we are going to grow as a company. And it's a good omen, a good sign that God has a great future. And as a leading OMC in the country, we know that this is a good footing for greater success.
Team Goyle also impressed on the track, with Daytris finishing second in the women's 100 meters with 15.31 seconds. But across the stadium, other disciplines were in full swing. Swimming belonged to the National Petroleum Authority, chess to Apex Bank, Scrabble to the Luckiest, table tennis to NPA, and lawn tennis to Macaulay's daughters, Nashika and Nanyemi, who dazzled with dominance. The CEO's penalty shootout, closely watched by Mr. Debra, ended in triumphant for Mr. Educhum of the Luckiest, with Aram Edum of Aldrich Care Solutions and Apia Kubi Yeboah of Yak Deco taking second and third. Mr. Educhum attributed the success to his coach.
I want to say thank you so much. The fans, you were amazing. I prepared so well with my coach, Mr. Goodluck, as you see him. We know we came here to win, and we did just that. Whatever he taught me, I put it to practice, and it won us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sprinter Vicentia of Safoda Ventures once again stamped the authority in the women's 100 meters final, clocking 14.82 seconds before leading a side to another penalty shootout win. But the story of the day belonged to PWAC Natural Health. Led by Dr. Prince Nelson Mototi, they stormed to gold in the men's 100 meters final as Asamoah clocked 11.45 seconds. The team then swept the men's and the women's lime and spoon races before sailing their triumphant in the unisex sack race. 4 gold medals, enough to crown them overall champions of the 2025 Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. Apex Bank earned the Team Spirit Award for their infectious energy, gold in chess and women's table tennis events.
I'm so excited I had the win this year again. Compared to last year, the competition has actually been a really tough one, but then seeing the results that I pulled through it, I'm very, very much prepared for the one that is supposed to be coming next year. And I'm very glad I won the competition for 2025 Joy Sports Invitational Tournament.
Meanwhile, NPA added glory in the tug of peace and men's table tennis and swimming.
This year was very, very challenging. This year was very, very challenging because we have national players in it, and I was able to win.
It's just been motivation throughout. Our coach has been supportive. Our director of HR and admin, everybody has been supportive, you know. So at this point in time, all we just want to do is to relax, celebrate our win, and then take it on from the next competition.
Debutants, the luckiest 712 Ash, also shone, clinching gold in E-Games, Scrabble, and the CEO shootout. Elsewhere, including Industries announced their debuts with gold in men's arm wrestling, while Yak Deco took the women's crown. ECG Accra East Region, Adansi Travels, Labadi Beach Hotel, Youth Employment Agency, and DHL all walked away with silver medals across different events. At sunset, medals had been counted, the trophies lifted, and memories made. But in the end, one name stood tallest. PWAC Natural Health crowned champions of the 2025 Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. The Joy Sports Invitational Tournament once again lived up to its billing as Ghana's biggest corporate sports festival. And this year, PWAC Natural Health wrote their name in gold letters. For Joy Sports, my name is Joseph Ayinga Walter.
My colleague Joseph Ayinga Walter with that report from the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. Now we go to the University of Ghana Stadium, where the Gaga Top 4-2 also came to a conclusion. It was Ghana Premier League champions, Bibiani Gold Stars, who won it by virtue of being head-to-head superior over Accra Hazard Oak. At the end of the competition, they all finished with 7 points apiece. Kumasi Asante Kodoko finished at the bottom with 0 points. We go for a highlights of the match between House of Oak and Asante Kodoko. That ended 2-0 in favor of House of Oak.
Ali will look for options. There is a told now. Spreads play to the right side. He finds Amankwa Berfi on the ball for House of Oak. Back to midfield now to Abdul Karim. Karim looks up. Good ball from him now to Paco. Flick the ball on now. It draws. Duku with a chance for House of Oak. It's a goal!
What a way to start the Super Clash. What were they doing at the back?
Caught ball watching. Look at it. The flick from Paco was good. Duku ran to it. The canal was caught ball watching. And the count finished on Duku to open the floodgates here at the UD Stadium. House of Oak 1. Kodoko 0.
I mean, when you look at that pass infield and the one time that went over the head of Zakaria, he was caught ball watching. He didn't know what went over him, and all Frank Duku had to do was.
Zakaria Martin, I'm thinking about the uses of George Paku. So he's going in for this corner kick. He comes in, it's an in-swinger, goes to the back, like pull. There comes the chance! Goal! Rafael Amposa with a goal for House of Oak. Amankwa Emmanuel Easton with a free header, making it 2 for House of Oak. Look at the bench, Court Ramani. Look at that.
Punch in the skies, a game set situation, and you see the man who came off the bench.
Well, good morning once again, and welcome to the AM show. Time for us to go into what the papers are reporting today. But a reminder that the AM show is sponsored by Syntex Tank. Ghana, let's talk about water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the torches on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right, the tortoise tank, Syntex Tank, is the champion of water tanks. It is strong, durable, and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. So, rain or shine, Syntex Tank has your back. So go outside, check out your tank, and if it doesn't have the torches on it, then you know what it is. It's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex Tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Call 0244 335168. 0244 335168 to buy now or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough. Well, MFA Adeti is looking all beautiful this morning. She's here for us to bring you the news review. Hi.
To you, good morning to you, Kojo. And as well, this morning on News Review, we've got Kamal Dean Abdullahi, Deputy Director for Communications, NPP. A little later, we shall be joined by Hamza Suhaini, legal practitioner and as well member of the NDC Communications team. But we kick off the newspaper review with the NPP directorates, as I like to call them. But Kamal, good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, MFA.
How's your weekend been?
Terrific. And yours?
Preparing very much for Akwatia?
Absolutely.
Ah.
Yeah, we're geared up for it.
Okay. What has your attention? How's your week been? What has your attention in the news? Something on your mind? It could be something that's not in the news, but it's been on your mind, on your heart, you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, certainly as we live and as we're healthy and we grow, we only have to give thanks to Almighty God and also be expectant of positive things to happen in your life. We've been praying for it, and of course, we don't control it, as we all know. The Almighty, who owns the divine province and owns everything on earth, is the one who controls whatever we do. We only have to espouse wishes, which I've always done, and what I do always is to say that, look, love for all, be positive about it, be positive-minded, and ensure that whatever you do, you put in your best and do it to the best of your knowledge. And also ensure that the love for your nation is also equally as good as loving yourself. I've always been positive about whatever we do. I will critique. In criticizing as well, I would have to be circumspect in whatever I do. And I would also profess suggestions to whoever is supposed to steer the affairs of our country for the better future that we all yearn for, as it were.
Let me ask you, what one thing is the NDC doing currently that you're impressed by?
I've always maintained that governance is a continuum. And when the future of a country is hinged on education, it tells you that the future wouldn't be bleak. And for the NDC to come and augment, the budgetary support for the free SHS that we mooted that idea and implemented, to continue with it, just to develop the human capital of this country, I think that was a yeoman's job and would have to pat them on the back for that.
All right. Well, we're joined by Hamza Suhaini, legal practitioner, member of the NDC Communications team. Good morning, Hamza.
Good morning.
How's your weekend been?
Well, not bad.
I love that great suit you have on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, what's in the news that has your attention? If not in the news, maybe even outside of the news?
I think basically so far has to do with the happenings within the New Patriotic Party and the fact that they are undoubtedly trying in a way to contribute their quota to our national development as far as our democratic ethos are concerned. Unfortunately, it has become a source of concern and worry to many of us, considering the fact that many of our young people will be looking up to us to discharge ourselves, be it internal or external elections. And what appears to be coming out about the tribal and religious undertones within the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party is something that as a republic we must be concerned about. And knowing my brother, Kamal Dean, I'm quite convinced that he himself is worried about those developments. So it is worrying, and I think that as quickly as possible, they have to rally around and try to avoid that dangerous path to politicking. That portends not only a danger to the new patriotic party as a political party, but even to our democratic stability as a republic. And for me, that has been one worry that I carried through the weekend, hoping that this week the narrative would be different. They will do everything within their power to ensure that we move away from that unfortunate way of campaigning. Though, to those of us in the new National Democratic Congress, what is happening is not new. We cautioned against it years ago. The MPP created an impression as though they were immune to it and they had moved away from that kind of politics. But it is sad that the former vice president is now at the receiving ends of what many of us predicted and cautioned the new patriotic party against. So, my brother, I think it is time for them to start playing key roles in ensuring that we rally everyone around.
You, despite the other opponents saying that his words were twisted. Is that the case in point? The two flag bearer hopefuls who are up in arms about tribal remats, is that the case in point?
I think so, because whichever way you analyze the utterances of Brian Achampo, in as much as that I appreciate that he was trying to engage in an intellectual discourse. But you see, sometimes we have to take into consideration the audience we have before us and be very mindful of the kinds of things we see, because the likelihood of misinterpretation can be very high. And that is the reason why, as political actors and as political players and leaders within the various political parties, we must not only be mindful of our language, but even the audience that we speak to. It is a critical part of communication. And if that link is missing, no matter how sincere your intentions would have been, at the end of the day, you may miss the picture. And many of these people will go out with the wrong impression that undoubtedly threatens our democratic stability. And so for me, though, I respect his attempt to explain, but we have to be careful as a political party and also as a republic, because these things are clearly signs that if we do not nib it in the bud, we are going to have challenges going forward.
Right, Kojo, maybe we have Kamal respond to this before we get.
I saw him.
It'll be fair.
I saw him trying to.
Yes, let me say good morning to my brother as well, and of course, and also continue to commensurate with the family of Dr. Murtala.
Absolutely.
Ibrahim or Mohammed. Of course, a brother we lost in the helicopter crash, and of course to the families of all those who were involved, as it were. I'm bringing up this because my brother sought to do a bit of politics this morning, and in our backyard in Tamale is boiling. Just a week after the funeral of our beloved brother, the jostling and, of course, the belly of politics is showing a lot of signs in Tamale which are unhealthy, very, very unhealthy, within the rank and file of the NDC as well. And I find it quite worrying, of course, going into the weekend, as it were. I don't know if the 14 people or 13 people who filed were earnestly waiting for our brother's demise before. Anyway, but that's just on a lighter note. I just think that, yes, in as much as in our political party, we have some unfortunate happenings, so do we have also in the NDC such unfortunate happenings. And these ones has to do with the example I just cited, the jostling and, of course, looking at the time span when we sympathize even with the situation and withdrew from it, giving it that kind of national, if you like, touch in terms of sympathy, in terms of, mourning with the bereaved families and all that. Our friends on the other side rather find it quite expedient for them to do their politics as usual and, be on each other's neck just because they want to succeed a man who unfortunately passed out under very bizarre circumstances, which no one wished to go through, as it were. Yes, we may talk of tribal bigotry or religious bigotry in our politics, which we all condemn, but I've always maintained that in every competition, you expect some of these signs to come out. What is important is how we manage it when it happens. Also, what is important is how we come together after the contest, as it were. Let me commend the leadership of the New Patriotic Party for ensuring that we go into this early Congress, you know. In every competition, especially in politics, you throw at each other. And throwing at each other, you have to also be careful, as it were, what you spew out or what you say. Because like my brother rightly put it, a lot of interpretations could be put to whatever you say. A lot of analysis. Because whatever information you bring out, somebody's supposed to decode whatever you have sent out. And then to his understanding or her understanding, what he thinks or she thinks it is. And it may cause a collective damage, as it were, to your political party. Unfortunate as it appears, but we are sure of coming together to pick up the bits and pieces when they come up, and then, of course, forge ahead for victory, inshallah, in 2028, after our presidential primaries, as it were. Yes, the side of Brian Champon says, I was taken out of context. I spoke in context, and I was taken out of context. Our side, the side of Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, who I support strongly, also think otherwise, that, look, at least you could have done better in terms of your utterances. Because it is not about this, it's about the bigger picture. Okay? And we've questioned the enclave, or that enclave, the Boku side, which are about 6 constituencies or so. Since 1992, what has been the performance of the New Patriotic Party there? We've always asked. President Kufuor did a bit better, okay? We won Boko at a point, lost it again, okay? And at a point, we never get any seat there. I'm not to say, or it's not to say that we don't do, well, as it were, but how significant, hugely, and I'm choosing my words well, how significant, hugely, is that, okay, when it comes to the national picture for presidential votes? Okay, so because of that, somebody will say, I want to do an intellectual analysis and maybe gain some advantage, as it were, but you may cause damage to your own party. That's my problem. Because if it's about Mampusis and Kusasis, and we want to go the tribal way, the Mampusis who you feel one of their own is contesting with you would also say, wait a minute, we are also voters. It's not just about Kusasis. We also have population. They also have population. What we should do as a people now, that is why they call on every political party to appear nationalistic. And every also politics that we do, speak when you are speaking, make sure of national cohesion being espoused. So for me, I think that where we single out tribalism or bring in tribalism, I think we're going to have problems, as it were. As a party, it's unfortunate some of these things will come out, but like once again, I want to say that, look, we are going to pick these bits and pieces together, put them up after the election, and inshallah, we are going to match NDC good for good.
Also, do you pick the lesson from Hamza when he says you should watch what you say?
Absolutely. I mean, I even referred to him when I said that, look, a lot of interpretations could be put to whatever you say. Okay. So as a politician, before you say anything, calculate it.
Before. Okay?
Very well. Because the little thing you say, look at what happened in Rwanda some time ago. How did we get the genocide triggered? Just somebody sitting on radio and speaking against a particular tribe. Was it the Houthis or the Tutsis? And it culminated into what? Millions of people died. Okay. So I think that we should be careful whatever we say when the cameras or the microphone is put before us.
Okay. If I have the news center and also the daily guide. But there's a story in the news center. Let me just go through the front pages. It says tribal politics dangerous for MPP's progress, according to Dr. Bawumia. Upon Nkrumah inspects new school block in Ofuase Ayerebi, after over 26 billion financial sector cleanup, 6 big banks in crisis, unlikely to meet capital requirements and require mergers or bailout, Fitch warns. WAEC releases 2025 BC provisional results. And the big story for me, Bagre Dam spillage, 81 people dead, 120K lives displaced, 76,000 farms lost. Now, and I want us to deal with that story. It says Burkina Faso's power utility Sonabel will begin a controlled spillage of the Bagre Dam on Wednesday August 27, 2025, after water in the reservoir climbed to 233.98 meters. That's 86.38% to full capacity as of Friday, August 22. Ghana's Water Resources Commission relayed a notice to local authorities and first responders warning residents along the White Water and adjoining floodplains to, quote, take necessary precautions, unquote, and follow safety guidance from district assemblies and emergency agencies. Then in their editorial, they give us numbers. And they say that the record is sobering. At least 81 lives have been lost in major spillage years since 2007, including 25 in 2009, 19 in 2020, and over 30 in 2018 alone. More than 120,000 people have been displaced or directly affected, while some 76,000 hectares of farmland, much of it rice and maize, have been inundated. Well, I mean, for all these years, why are we still dealing with this problem without finding a solution?
Good question. Great question. I think it's politics and lack of commitment on the side of leadership. When I say leadership, I am referring to both divides, both sides, the NDC and the MPP. More especially those of us from up north.
Really?
More especially. Why? I was born and bred in Upper East region. I grew up in Upper East, even though I'm from Northern region, as it were. I grew up in Upper East region, and I know that enclave very well. Polygu, and of course, what actually they go through annually when the dam, the spillage of the dam happens, from the Bagre running to Polygu to the, is it the White Vault or the Upper Vault or whatever they call it. You see, point is, when I say we haven't shown commitment enough, we haven't shown leadership enough, we should realize that, look, at any given point, a project that is earmarked for us is not just for a political party or whatever. Today, look at Vocational Intergen. Are we all not using it? My brother Hamza is NDC, he drives past there. I am MPP, I drive past there. It's a national monument. Why can't we, for once, also think of irrigational projects that will economically help, affect us positively, and as leaders, commit ourselves to constructing such dams? Nana Addo-led administration commands something like that. What is this government going to do?
What did you commence?
Yeah, we talked about building the Polygu Dam, okay, to ensure that, irrigational dam, to ensure that at least it gives the economic value that we want. The commitment was there. As to whether the funding was actually gotten, as to whether it was just entirely GOG alone, what was the commitment? Of course, there will be some bottlenecks. But like I said, handing over notes will be given. And if handing over notes are given, and somebody is at the helm of affairs or steering the affairs now, what is that person saying about this project?
So you mentioned commitment.
Yes.
What defines that commitment you say your government showed?
Why? The commitment, first of all, to even moot an idea to say that, look, we need this project put in place, and then commence steps to ensure same is commitment. That alone is commitment.
Commence steps.
When I'm saying, of course, yeah, we had invested even. The project has started. I'm aware that the Polygu irrigation dam actually was a project given. Of course, like I said, you may have some challenges or bottlenecks along the way, but what is important is that there was something like that initiated. Now, if the new government comes in, the new government ought to review whatever is there and also show same commitment to say, look, we are going to have this thing built. We're going to ensure that this irrigational dam that is going to bring economic value to these people in that area, we're going to get it built.
Have you heard the news that there's nothing there really?
Point is, preparatory, look, every project has its preparatory stage.
Okay.
Every project. Your consultants ought to work, people ought to do drawings, people have to sit in the room, offices to work as it were. Where did they get to? That's why I said, look, review it, look at what is there. Okay? Let us not so be fixated with the negatives. What was the positive implication of this project? And should it end, how are we going to benefit it? Yes, you can do all the politics, the money has been spent, this has been said. I'm not saying no one should be checked, no one should go unchecked. We should check each and every person who is in that project. And if there's a problem, bring it out and unearth it. Now, if you unearth that problem, what is the solution? Bottom line is we must ensure that that project, so as it appears lofty to all of us and good to all of us, we should make sure that that project see the light of day. That is basically what I'm talking about. And I'm saying that the MPP has been in government, the NDC has been in government, all of us have run this democratic representation for 32 years or more. What have we done to ensure that when Bagre Spillage happens, okay, there is a big irrigational dam that can consume it, that at the end of the day, the damage, that the havoc that it causes will not happen? That's the question I'm asking here. But we continue blaming each other, and the problem continue to persist. That is unfortunate to us as a country. Very unfortunate.
Okay. But we understand your government spent some 12 million on it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, look, governance or government is a continuum. I am not saying that.
Yeah, I get you, but I just
was done.
$12 million.
What? Why do you have auditing? If you sit down and say somebody has spent $12 million, it is your duty to do the auditing, do the checks, come out with the facts that we have. Okay. Then when you come out with the facts, you then say, okay, I'm also showing commitment to it. Having known this is the way to go, so we can have that project in place. It is the importance of the project I'm looking at. And of course, whoever spearheaded it is still there. Documents are there to trace. Payments were made. You cannot just go into the consolidated fund just like that. Money, of course, if spent, must be accounted for. Okay. So that's basically what I'm talking about. But what is important is that my government mooted the idea, thought there was a good thing to be done with this, so that when this happened, the people who are poor there continue to be impoverished because of this spillage will not actually see that again.
Okay. All right. Hamza, you agree that that they showed some commitment, at least, to moot the idea that let's construct this dam to take care of the spillage so that we can save our people, from all of this hardship. But since the idea was mooted till now, we haven't seen much. What must be done? He's calling for continuity because you're all from there. What government should do in ensuring that this comes to life?
I think, first of all, let me make the point quickly that my initial commentary on the tribal happenings within the New Patriotic Party was nationalistic in character, and I did not seek to score any political goals out of it. It was simply a caution I was throwing to the New Patriotic Party. And it was quite strange that my brother decided to rope in Tamale Central to do his politics. Unfortunately, if there is any politics to be done, it has to do with the 1992 Constitution of Ghana that appreciates that at every stage, there's going to be the likely effect of people losing their lives and seats becoming vacant. Nowhere in the Constitution has it been said that when such unfortunate things happen, then people must be appointed to occupy these respective seats. The Constitution itself anticipated competitive elections. And so whatever is going on within Tamale Central is within the remit of our law. And as far as electoral democracy is concerned, I do not see the fuss about the reference to numbers and the fact that the NDC is jostling for the seats of the late Murtala Mohammed, with the greatest respect to his memory and to his family. I'm sure that he himself will tell you that the Tamale Central constituency was not his personal property. So for that matter, any other person who believes can project his legacy and that of the National Democratic Congress is more than welcome to contest in that particular election. Having said that, the spillage of the Bagre Dam, I think that we should be tired discussing this matter, in all honesty. I started hearing issues of Bagre Dam as way back in secondary school. Then to training college, it was one of the topical news to always anticipate at the end of every year. Same at the University of Ghana. It has become an annual ritual where we expect people to lose their lives, properties destroyed, farmlands destroyed because of the effects of the spillage. Unfortunately, we as successive governments have not lived up to expectation in managing that particular challenge. And I agree with him that the time has come for us to bring closure to proposals aimed at controlling the situation or better managing it for the sake of the lives that we lose annually. from that stretch. But you see, you cannot also do any effective commentary on the Bagre Dam spillage and its effects without making references to how, especially in the last 8 years, it was managed. In all honesty, Kamal, I hate to give it a partisan outlook, but I can't also assess the performance of the last regime in that regard without looking at the kind of interventions they brought on board. Remember when the then president of Burkina Faso came to this country and we were calling for meaningful engagement with the president, of course, our president and him, to find a way of addressing the issue. The president was interested in giving him a national award. Remember, in 2018, Nanado decided to award him with a national, one of our highest awards, Volta.
Order of the Volta.
Order of the Volta. Thank you for the correction, MFA. For the president, that was what was present then. So we missed that golden opportunity to have that interaction, needed interaction with him. Because you see, you cannot find amicable solution to the issue by simply stroking the ego of our Burkinabe's counterparts. It is about law. It is about international treaties that surrounds how these things should be done. How are they committing themselves to these international treaties as a republic? Yes, we want to be an effective neighbor to Burkina Faso, but it does not mean that we want to do so at the peril of the lives of the innocent Ghanaian. And so these are some of the things we should be talking about. And remember, when Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was campaigning to be vice president of the Republic of Ghana, he assured us, especially those of us coming from the north, myself and you, that something of that nature would be a thing of the past, because we live it on yearly basis, and he knows the effects of the Bagre Dam spillage. What did we witness? $12 million washed down the drain with nothing to show under his vice presidency for 8 years, under the guise of building the Poalugu Dam. So, Kamal, we wanted an opportunity to be part of governance and to provide solutions to our people. The northern extraction, especially from the Mamprugi area to Upper East, listened and gave Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia the mandate. What did he do? Because it is a major problem in the northern region, especially around the northeast side.
Well, so Hamza, I mean, we've seen that. We've seen that expenditure. That's in the past. He's calling for the commitment in continuing the project. Can we have that?
Yes, if you are patient, patient. But you see, it is important for us to have these discussions, not only intended as a punitive criticism against Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and the MPP, but also as a timely reminder to this current government that indeed, if they also fail in that regard, Ghanaians will come back to that issue and hold them responsible. Because I make these comments knowing fully well that the sitting president is also from that zone. So I would want to see workable commitments on the part of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, which I am convinced that this time around he would confront head on.
Okay.
For the sake of those of us who are hailing or who come from that particular enclave. And so it is important. But we cannot reach that compromise, or we cannot get a workable solution to it if we continue to stroke the ego of our Burkinabe counterparts. Okay. It is about the law. If they were on the receiving end, I am pretty much convinced that they would have invoked all our international agreements and treaties to ensure that it is done in a responsible manner. And these are some of the things we should be looking at. Because we bear the brunt of the effects of such spillage. What would be their economic commitment or financial commitment to the Republic of Ghana in terms of coming out with solutions to that particular spillage problems that we have? Are they willing to contribute a quota in that regard? How much are they willing to dedicate to the Republic of Ghana in our quest to find an amicable solution to it? These are some of the discussions we should continue to have.
The total cost for that project, according to the Ghana Education Development Authority, was $404.75 million. So your argument is Burkina should take
how
part
much of
this.
that is Burkina Faso willing
to take? Okay, interesting.
And then maybe the 12 million exactly was 11.9, right?
Yeah, 11.9.
Has it even been audited yet?
I'm told it came up strongly in the work that the Honorable Ogustito Ablakwe and Co did prior to the
oral.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm told it came out strongly, and I'm convinced also that as we speak today, investigations are going into it, and he knows. So, but
Gida explained then that the 11.9, which is 12 million, formed part of the mobilization that they should have paid to the contractor. Actually, according to the contract, they said they should have paid $48 million as part of mobilization to the contractor. And then they go further to say that, well, he did some works, the access road to the contractor's campsite and what have you. But like Hamza put it, there has to be auditing for us to know whether that commensurate with,
Both of you should maybe take us on a journey to that area because you're both familiar over there. Beyond the structural requirements, beyond how much we've spent so far, the people that live in the communities, do they understand what really happens when they say they're about to spill the dam? Do they really understand? Because you recall in 2018, there were even debates about how many people lost their lives. We won't even talk about assets, but people say 8, people say 30, which means that we may be losing counts, which means that for over 15 years, the 81 persons that we are recorded, it could even be more. But do they understand? Because encroachment is one of the things that have been highlighted as well. What's the territory like? How easy or difficult is it for a government to say maybe relocate people? Do they understand it? Or because those are the farming communities, they're very attached to the area? Let us in. What is it like in that community?
Okay. MFR, let me agree with my brother that we need to join forces as a people to ensure that the lives of those people affected there yearly is protected. We need to join forces to ensure that this project, which is going to be economically valuable to us as a country, is indeed seen. I recall that on the 7th of August 2024, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, when he was campaigning to be the President of the Republic of Ghana, emphatically stated in Bolgatanga that the Bagre Dam project is going to be completed under his watch. Emphatically stated that. Okay? And went further to say what we have all said this morning. I spoke about audit, I spoke about handing over notes, I spoke about documents available, and that any amount of money spent must be audited and justified, as it were. He spoke about same. Now, the next thing I spoke about, which is the commitment, is what is lacking from this government. If indeed we are all from that area, the president is equally from the north. That is why he emphatically stated in Bolgatanga that under his stewardship as president, the Bagre Dam project is going to be completed, and we are holding him to it. He said so. But interestingly, your first budget, if you find it so important, you found it expedient to chastise others, now you are not finding it important to include same in your expenditure for the people to level or to measure your level of seriousness. Yet you sit here and want to still blame MPP. We have handed over the baton to you. Ghanaians say, MPP, look, we are okay with you. We want NDC to steer the affairs of Ghana.
They were not okay with it.
Wait a minute. NDC says we are going to.
They said you failed them.
Well, no, with NDC says we are promising on the 7th of August 2024 to complete dam project.
Complete?
To complete, yes.
In a year?
No, he said so.
Is that a promise, President?
He made a
promise, but didn't give a timeline to finish.
Look,
is that what he
a
did?
promise, initiate a process to ensure that you will do. You know
the feasible project to do.
Why?
Within
construction of the dam. My brother rightly put the $400 and something million.
If allocated when? Yeah.
It's not chicken change. I thought you would have done your evaluation, you would have done your calculation before even making such pronouncements. And you know very well that you have your legacy tenure, only one. You're going for 4 years. You told them emphatically that under your watch, that project will complete.
Okay.
So we are holding you to that.
Let's just say that that's a very ambitious vision. Hamza, this year...
ambitious vision here.
Let's just say.
We're not saying. We are saying that the man has promised us.
Okay.
He saw it, he evaluated and said he was going to do it. Now your first budget does not even talk about it at all.
Which I want to have
at all.
Yes, and I'll respond to you.
Yes.
Also, Hamza, this year,
it wasn't politics.
The spillage would happen anyway.
Yeah.
What differently?
It's coming up on Wednesday.
I'll get to that. I anticipated that. But you see, MFA, first of all, two strands. First of all, Kamal.
Yes.
You know better. And so in doing your politics, we must try as much as possible to stay true to the facts.
That's what?
It is not inaccurate to say that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama somewhere in August 2024 promised that the Bagre Dam will be completed under his tenure. His Excellency President Mahama does not have a one-year tenure. It is not 1 year. You see,
it's a project for
please. And when he made that promise, he was explicit under my tenure. This is the first year. And we are still looking at the expenditure that went into that particular Bagre Dam under the leadership of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NPP. We are still investigating. It will be so irresponsible to continue to pour resources down that drain without getting a hold of what the actual situation is. At the end of the 4 years, if we are unable to complete it, you can confidently sit in this chair and question government's commitment. But remember that even upon assumption of office, we were quick in letting you know, and the good people of this country know, the mess you left us economically. So there are so many of our expenditure buttons.
So this year, when the Hamza
let me land on this quickly.
When the spillage happened.
No, you see, but this is important. This is important. Look, there were so many expenditure buttons that we had to postpone because of the kind of economic situation we inherited.
Granted.
So you need to appreciate that.
Granted.
And be rest assured that if we bring everything back on track, Bagre will be one of the pursued policies that would give comfort to you and the good people of the Northeast region.
So this year,
but now coming back to this year, you see, something instrumental happened. Unfortunately, may the soul of our brothers rest in peace. The likes of Dr. Alaji Limuna. He was specifically tasked to be in charge of human security at the national security. And I can assure you that based on the discussions that I was privileged to have witnessed, the Bagre Dam spillage was anticipated, in all honesty. It was anticipated. And so this time around, they were looking at how they could approach it with a human face, including forceful ejections with the help of national security people. Because mind you, many of these people, it's not as if they are not willing to move. And they were thinking of collaborating with NADMO. Many of these people, it's not as if they are not willing to move. But they feel like if I move, where am I moving to? So if there are alternative arrangements that we can quickly move them to, and possibly also have a way of dealing with the issue of loss when it comes to their farmlands, because many of them have started the farming season. They've started farming.
Yeah.
And there's that kind of conviction that, look, maybe it is not going to get to me. And before they realize, it gets to them.
Okay.
That is the more reason why government, through that national security outfit, the human face of national security, must be active in this particular spillage. They must go out there. If people would have to be moved out forcefully, let us do it and ensure that we do not lose a single life this year. As for farmlands, I can assure you that there's no way we can save them. Many of the farmlands will go, unfortunately.
They usually migrate the livestock, do they not?
Sometimes they do, if you're able to engage them quite timely. Look, many of our people are simply unwilling to move because in their estimation, it's not going to do anything to them. And that is the reason why the state, through national security this time round, must not mince words. It must go out there, direct them to move. If they don't move, if they have to be moved forcefully for the time being, because it's only temporal, let us move them forcefully and ensure that we protect lives. As for protection of property, I cannot sit here and guarantee it because I doubt. Many of the farmlands, unfortunately, many of them would be washed away. So, but we must find a lasting solution to it. We can't continue on this trajectory.
Okay, well.
And I hope and pray that you do the needful by holding us accountable, yes.
Absolutely.
To ensure that it is done. We would respect that.
Not me doing the
Kojo, shall we stay up north a bit?
Sure.
Because for the NDC, I'm quite surprised that Tamale Central, the number of people that are showing interest.
Oh, you're surprised? You're quite surprised.
I am quite
Very
surprised.
good. I'm happy with this thing.
Maybe I should say fascinated.
That's fine.
So initially it was 14. It's been slashed to 12.
12.
But Hamza, you're here. Is it 14 or 12? As of this morning.
Idea. Honestly, I have no idea.
Have no
because
idea.
If I tell you I've been following the activities of Tamale Central, I'll be lying to you.
Why?
At the point, he was even accused of being one of the contenders.
I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the point they said
it didn't start now. Even when the Honorable Inus Afusini decided to
you had to issue a disclaimer.
Yes. I remember that same year again, I had to issue a disclaimer that I was not contesting. Because if the constituency chairman is listening, he was one of the first people who called me to argue that, look, the time had come for me to step in. But I've always believed that it will be unfair to the good people of Tamale. It will be unfair to the good people of Tamale Central, for that matter. I do not subscribe to the kind of politics that suggests my brother is just next door. Tamale North, Tamale Central. I do not think that we are the only family in Tamale blessed with the opportunity to contribute to community development. Many other people should take up that opportunity. If they were to be maybe outside Tamale, it's something probably I would have contemplated doing, but within the same backyard.
A question to you.
I don't think that
are you surprised at the numbers?
I am not. And so for me, I am not. Anybody, any follower of Tamale, the politics of Tamale Central, this shouldn't come to you as a surprise. It has always been a hot constituency. Indeed, it is the nerve center of politics in the northern region, for that matter. We are not talking about Tamale North, Tamale South. We are talking about Tamale Central, and that is the nerve center of our political activism. And if you like to, many of those of us who are either in Accra or outside the country, many of us have our roots in Tamale Central. So if you look at the list that seems to be going around, a chunk of them are coming from outside this country, who also want to sow their political votes by possibly trying to see whether they can win the seat or not. So it is not surprising to me. If such numbers were recorded in a constituency like Nantom, maybe Tamale North, Tamale South, it would have come to me as a surprise. But Tamale Central, goodness me, I am only hoping that we don't actually even get to 20.
Oh.
Yes, and you see, that is.
I hear they're calling for more forms. I hear they're calling for forms.
Has it ever happened?
Calling for forms.
If you're not surprised, why are you hoping you get 20?
That is why I'm saying that, because I'm not surprised about the numbers. You think that 12 or 14 is quite outrageous. Why is it 12 or 14? For me,
you can actually get there. You can actually get to 20.
It is possible, because I'm telling you that.
Has it ever happened?
That
it's gotten to 20?
No, it's never gotten to 20. It's never gotten to 20. But I'm just making the point that it is possible. Because now people are more exposed. Now we have so many people who are very popular from the Tamale Central constituency who would want to give it a shot.
Including yourself.
So well.
Eh?
You say it is possible so
no,
well.
it is, but you see, the fact that people have come to pick forms does not mean that at the end of the day, all of them will end up contesting. It is also possible that at the end of the day, we may have about 4 or 5 people actually going through the contest. It is highly possible too. But you see, that is the beauty of democracy. It creates the impression, and for me, it is a fulfilling one, that people are gradually becoming awakened. And there are many of our people out there who feel that they have something to offer, especially when it comes to our electoral politics. And that is commendable. In the past, you used not to have such interest. Somewhere in 1992, he knows, 96. You used not to see that level of enthusiasm in our political activity, especially when it comes to contest in northern region. It used not to be there. The fact that people are now getting interested in occupying these positions, we must commend it. And if you look at the list so far, they are young people who feel that they have something to offer. And most of them claim that they have been inspired by the legacy of the late Honorable Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed, and for which they want to continue. So let us encourage them. I think that is the beauty of electoral democracy. Let us encourage people who feel that they have something to offer to come out. And let us not condemn largely because we feel that there are so many people coming out to contest. Let the screening process take its course. Many of them may be vetted out. Many may pull out on their own, because as of yesterday, I'm told, on my way here, about 2 people had pulled out. I saw it on social media. So who knows? I have taken a decision not to be interested in what happens there, because the little thing you say, before you realize you are part of the problem, not the solution.
Wait, so the NPP decided to. Now I'm hearing from Hamza, and I feel that it's indeed the nerve center for the NDC. It's quite a hot place for the NDC. Did the NPP just chicken out?
Oh, interesting.
All in the name of, all in the
I like the angle you want me to take it from. But before I get to that angle, just as my brother had to divert or deviate a bit before coming to the substantive matter, I still find it so important to, bring to closure a discussion on the Bagre Dam.
Please proceed.
Very, very important. I think this government must show commitment. First of all, they should know that pragmatism is the way to go and not rhetoric. If your big push is not even citing Bagre Dam at all, and the president is on record to have promised that he will do it in his tenure, I think that it is a wake-up call on you to ensure that your big push also inculcates this into the head, despite your struggle for capitalization for your big push even. I don't know. But of course, he says we should hold them to it, and we'll continue to hold them to it. To Tamale Central, I hinted on that earlier on, and my brother said I was doing politics. In his submission, mixed reaction by himself. In one vein, the number might even rise from 14 to 20 because of the center. The next moment, who knows? Maybe only 4 people or 5 people will end up contesting.
Which is
with a great respect. I know what the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
What is bringing this inconsistency? It is because of the circumstances surrounding the vacancy that has been created. My brother says, I wouldn't talk much on this. I don't know what to say that somebody will pull me into something. It tells you that politically, there are certain comments and vegetations in there or over there that he wouldn't like to associate himself with.
That's true, and it's always been so.
You get what I mean?
Not
so
just
that is why I'm saying that, look, it is so pathetic a circumstance, so sad an event for us to have involved. Look, despite the argument of law that Constitution says there should be primaries, there should be elections and whatever, we have humanity before politics. And I've always said so, especially Mutala, who, my brother agrees, I was in his house, he was there. We're together when it happened. You understand? We all felt it, unannounced. And to that extent, we MPP said, what has happened befallen us? Well, what has befallen us as a country? We will withdraw. This needless competition, okay, in the midst of all this sad situation, it's not worth it. That was our reason. Then we withdrew.
How would you have the NDC?
Now, some, with respect, some then say, some then say that because we know we're not going to win, that's why we're checking out. That is interesting. That's not true. Okay. First of all, he is from Tamale, and I am from there too. Mustafa Ali, of blessed memory, MPP, won it twice.
When was the last time you won?
I am saying, with a girl, no,
come out, don't
it is a
2004.
I am giving you the history of that constituency.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali, of blessed memory, won it twice for MPP.
Now you are HU. Oh, do this kind of politics. Now you are HU.
No, please.
Hamza, please let me.
You get it, MFR?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm saying that Mustafa Ali won it twice. We started in 1992, we didn't contest. 1996, we contested. Okay? And of course, Mustafa Ali came up. So, of course, you can get the history of it. But I'm trying to say that, make a point that MPP has won that seat before. 2, when our brother Barahama contested, the numbers in Tamale Central shrank the way the MPP used to win it. He says it's the nerve center of the NDC. But I'm telling you, look at the votes of MPP going forward. Even when it came, it was apparent that it's for the NDC. Our performance wasn't that bad until 2024 election. I am trying to say that, look, where there's competition, obviously, you'd have to come up. At a point again, we had one of our own, Wayoseni, winning that seat, even though on NDC, but defecting from MPP to win that seat again. He lost later on again when he went for independent. I'm trying to say that there's history in it.
You have my
finally on this matter.
You have my attention.
Finally on this matter.
I think you've made the point quite clear that if NPP had contested, would have performed well and all of that. But
yes.
How would you? Let's move to how the NDC's got some numbers.
Yeah.
And you know, getting our attention on the emotional side. That I mean, because of the way it was, that's why the NPP didn't want to contest. And I'm asking, how would you have the NDC then? How would you have that seat to be treated? How would you rather have it?
Be treated by who? By the NDC?
Yes. How did you want us to represent? How did you want the people of Tamale Central be represented?
We in our party, I don't know of their constitution. We in our party, we have, and as also, and I believe they have same. We have primaries, that's election that will, of course, has to go with competition. And we have what we call selection of candidates.
Okay.
Okay. And how that selection of candidates bet is arrived at. Point is, the party look at the circumstances, sits and say, look, it is not worth it for us to go out there and throw mud at each other, especially with what we have found ourselves in. Can we analyze situations, do candidate search, pick somebody quietly, and get someone to represent so that at least we spare the nation of some, if you like, cacophony and all that. They should have done that. Okay. But for people to be jostling, and my brother saying that, look, I don't even want to say anything to be misquoted.
I think you forget
it tells you something is happening.
His brother is next door. You forget that point.
Well, no, not about that. He said he doesn't want to say anything, not the contest.
That is what I'm talking about.
He doesn't want to say anything. No. That's why I'm hinging on. He knows what is happening.
No,
he cannot sit on set to tell you this is what is happening in Tamale Central. But I tell you, it's not palatable. It is not palatable.
But Hamza,
and I will repeat it, it's not palatable at all.
Why didn't you just take one person?
So let me respond to that. You see, MFA, first of all, when I said that I didn't want to say anything,
it's not.
My utterances could actually constitute the basis upon which some people within the constituency may conduct themselves in ways that maybe if I had not made those comments, they wouldn't have. That is the fact. Because
I am what I've said.
No, because I am an interested party as far as the constituency is concerned. I have people who are loyal to me.
You are repeating what I said.
You get the point I'm making. And so if I'm not careful and I say things, I would rather be creating instability.
The same.
That is what
exactly what you are saying.
Started this conversation.
Yes,
it is not because Tamale Central.
So it tells you it's not palatable.
That's why I started the program by cautioning about the utterances we make as political leaders.
But would you talk about Tamale North?
Now, coming back.
Would you talk about Tamale North?
No, even Tamale North. Anybody who knows me, I try as much as possible not to run commentary.
Would you talk about, say, Okaikwe? Would you talk about any other?
Yes, I can. Because you see, when I run commentary
that place is very
peculiar. North, it's peculiar. Because when I run commentary on Tamale North, and if I'm not careful, what I would say may have repercussions on the image of my big brother. So I try as much as possible to distance myself from these zones. I don't run commentary on Tamale South. I don't run commentary on Tamale North. I don't run commentary on Tamale Central. It's a matter of
if there's no on Tamale,
let me come back
to run away.
Okay, you make the point. He asked an important question about why we could not have considered selecting a candidate. MFA, I think that those discussions came up. But you see, if it is about honoring the memory of the
and you were threatened.
Can I make a point?
You know that?
No, we are not.
You are not.
Can I make a point?
Come on, please let him have his time.
You see, if we are actually committed in a way.
Wait, Kamal, you have my attention. Were you threatened?
Yes, they were. There are videos. I can show you.
Him.
By delegates.
Me. Threatened by who?
By delegates on the ground. That they are trying to impose a candidate on them.
No. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Give me a minute. Were you threatened?
Not at all. Nobody threatened.
Okay. So we have clarity on
that. Not at all. But you see, the point I'm making is that I had those discussions. I heard that there were discussions to more or less get a compromise candidate. But you see, the beauty of Tamale Central is that is why I've always told us the left center. I don't have a problem with any decision by leadership to go with a compromise candidate. Let me put that on record. But the difficulty with Tamale Central is that if you are not careful, it's likely to create an impression that indeed the candidate, they are trying to impose a candidate on the constituency. It can easily be done in any other constituency, especially the rural communities. rural constituencies, like Nanton, we can reach such a compromise. So there are many constituencies we can do that. But Tamale Central is not one constituency. You can do that. If your intention was to avoid chaos, if you are not careful, and you actually bring such a candidate, they will brand the candidate as being an imposition. And the needless talks would emerge. You understand? So what you wanted to avoid, you clearly would have ended up throwing that constituency into that unfortunate situation. Now that they have opened the gates, people have gone to pick forms. It is peaceful. I see them having fun, cracking jokes. Yes, the aspirants. And you cannot make reference to even one incident of a conflict among the aspirants. Absolutely not. Right. It has so far been peaceful. And so the most important thing is for them to be given an opportunity to elect a candidate of their choice, which I am convinced that we will do. This is not the first time we have had to elect a candidate through a by-election. That's how the Honorable Inus Afiseni emerged. The same Tamale Central in 2006, when we had to go for a by-election, and he won. So, Kamal, I can assure you, unlike you people, we will do everything to ensure. Yes, well, your track record is a lot of issues. Your track record,
like he has to respond.
Your track record, but you see,
unlike us. What time is up? 30 seconds for you.
Finally, you see, this is. I can understand his passion because I have listened to others who feel that look, this is not the time for. This is not the. Are you the host? I have listened to others who feel that this is not the time for us to go through a competitive election because of our own cultural underpinnings. Not true. We are Muslims. When you look at the northern region, we are the nerve center of Islam. You turn every corner, they are calling the azan.
You are the nerve center of democracy and the nerve center of Islam.
Yes. He knows that, as a matter of fact. You turn every corner, they are calling the azan. And we say that we love each other and we hold to the Islamic principles. So someone like him, who is a Muslim, and my very good self, and also if you look at our culture, the numbers would be a bit uncomfortable and discomforting because it would have been, okay, wait, all the love for Honorable Mutala, is this how we are doing it? But this is different from democratic practice. This is different from what our constitution says. So I know that is the discomfort he has. Absolutely. Many people have that discomfort. In all honesty, many people have that discomfort. Yes, I won't run away from it. But that is, we cannot substitute how we do for our democratic.
Thank you, Hamza.
Let me help you with your discomfort. You see, it's very important, my brother.
I was on the floor. You are telling me.
No, Hamza, it's okay. Let him have it. Let him have it.
Yes. He's made a point for me. I am, trust me, I keep using the word not palatable. I thought that he's spoken about our cultural underpinnings and the kind of people we are. And like I said, the situation that presented us, was presented with, as it were, did not actually warrant a situation like this we're seeing in Tamale Center within the NDC. Look, truth is that they tried going on the tangent that I thought they should have gone. And delegates on the ground said that, look, you cannot sit in Accra and choose somebody for us. To the extent that they threatened that should you bring a candidate, we are going to vote for an independent person who will emerge. And I told you, there are videos to that effect. But you see, that tells you how a party in disarray, a party with a leadership, appears.
Really?
If you do, and you are on the ground, and these are people who are your men, you cannot convince them, talk to them, let them appreciate the discomfort this will create, then I think it's unfortunate.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Unfortunate.
Thank you, gentlemen.
No, it is only fair.
I wish you both.
There's nothing fairness about you coming in.
There's nothing fairness about it.
Kamal is a deputy director for communications of the MPP. Hamza is a legal practitioner. You see, when Hamza takes another one, this one will take. Our time is up. Hamza Sohoyini is a legal practitioner and a member of the NDC's communications team. Thank you very much.
You tweet the rest of his response. Tweet the rest of Welcome back to the show, and you're watching the AM show. Time now for big stories. Now today, we bring you a Joy News Hotline documentary shedding light on the dark underworld of substance abuse in Ghana, revealing how ghettos like Tinker Island and Columbia in Kumasi have become a hotbed of addiction, crime and despair. You don't want to miss this one. Stay.
A silent epidemic festers in the shadows. This is beneath homes, schools, the vibrant markets and busy trotro stations all over the country. It is a crisis that gnaws at the very fabric, robbing Ghana of its future, one youth at a time. In this documentary, I will take you on a journey to two neighborhoods in Kumasi, known not for commerce, but for addiction, desperation and decay. Tinker Island and Columbia, the notorious drug hubs, as we unmask Ghana's drug epidemic.
When I do time when I say I dear me to me bonum no me de kakra na de.
According to a report by the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime, domestic drug consumption in Ghana has become an underreported phenomenon. Health professionals working at state-funded psychiatric hospital estimates that about 10% of inpatients and between 20% and 30% of outpatient cases are now linked to substance abuse. The Narcotics Control Commission reviews that there are about 50,000 drug users in Ghana, with 35,000 as students from junior high, senior high and tertiary institutions aged between 12 and 35 years, while the remaining 15,000 are adults, with 9,000 males and 6,000 females. These aren't just numbers, these are lives, futures and the very soul of the nation hanging in the balance.
We've realized that, especially some of our neighbors, neighboring countries, they have these clandestine labs, and some of them have been able to come into the country and establish some of these labs that we are still using intelligence to find out where they are. You know, they are also producing these synthetic substances which are also destroying the youth.
These drugs being abused are opioids, popularly known as red, suspected cocaine, marijuana or weed as locally known, among countless others.
The use of opioids is very, very, very high. Mr. Speaker, conservative estimate in every constituency, you can have about 100,000 youth engaged in the use of this opioid. So we have about 276,000 youth have been exposed to this use of opioids. Mr. Speaker, rhetorically, Mr. Speaker, the new opioid substance is what we call red. Mr. Speaker, who red? It is the new opioid substance that is being abused.
This is what leaves the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mubarak, worried.
Regional Commander, in the next 6 months, if you are able to do something for me, I will be so happy. And I know the Zongo Mentioned Divisional Commander is here. You know, we have a place in Kumasi here around Alaba that is so unpopular. They call it Tinker. That's the tax that I want to see. That to welcome me, to show that the Interior Minister is from this region. I want Tinker to be a thing of the past in the next 6 months. And I'll be very, very happy.
Our journey takes us deep into the heart of places tagged as drug hubs, beginning with Tinker Island. This hub has, for decades, defied efforts to be eradicated. I have met these three addicts, leading me into one of the many ghettos in the island, but they demand 10 Ghana cedis before taking the risk. They tell me that navigating the area requires a deep understanding of its unwritten rules. Here, drug dealers operate with an almost open defiance. Our aim is to engage them, to understand their world, and if possible, to spot the elusive cartel that fuels this relentless trade. It was a long journey to a very short distance, which is believed to help them blow the whistle. Finally, we have access to this uncompleted building where some of the addicts stared blankly and a few, despite the cameras, continued injecting, snorting and inhaling while I engaged their masters to plead for an interview. Finally, we have been granted the permit to speak to some of the addicts. I begin with 26-year-old Rich Diddy, not his real name, who is already holding 2 tablets of opioid. This will be his second take for the day. He tells me that he started this in class 6 at age 13 after his friend introduced him to Tinker Island.
This, what drug is this?
This one is red.
Red?
225.
225?
Red.
Why?
This one is they call Unim Red.
Unim Red? Why do you take red?
Because I used to work, it make me work hard to do something like the thing I cannot do itself. I can do it very hard.
For 13 years now, Rich Diddy has been a consistent abuser of opioids, cocaine, marijuana, among others. He is also into alcoholism. He has been to the hospital and has been told about his poor health condition, but says he is unable to stop taking drugs. Seated next to Rich Diddy is 40-year-old Ghetto Lord, not his real name, who has been into drugs for 15 years now. Despite being a father of 3, he tells me his wife has rejected him because of his addiction. Ghetto Lord is a chronic weed smoker and he finds it difficult to stop taking drugs even in a day. He is convinced that very soon he could die.
Yeah, wear cigarette. Like rough man.
I didn't know.
Tell me no. I'm put me a day kakra, but at long last, I'm my emre. Sisi kura de, I'm my boy kura, baby woo.
Baby woo.
Na de kwedi opano de.
Na unim se baby woo na wono.
Say so manya mo bia me ntimi fa for so nyai.
Ntimi njai.
You be boane kakra.
Just across town lies Colombia, a name that conjures images of South American drug cartels, and perhaps rightly so. But in Kumasi's Colombia, the scent of burnt substances mingles with the stench of despair. We have our cameras down, filming secretly. We need a permit. These uncompleted buildings, abandoned by their owners, have been claimed, transformed into grim sanctuaries, or rather, prisons for addicts. The air here hangs heavy with the acrid smell of smoke. After some time, we are permitted to film. After doing so, we are allowed to enter the office of the ghetto. Despite the cameras, some are seen crushing tramadol tablets into fine powder using coins or broken glass, mixing it with energy drinks or codeine-laced syrups before gulping it down. Others roll marijuana in old newspapers or scrap pages from books, licking the edges to seal the joints. Nearby, others prepare heroin and other opioids, drawing the liquefied drugs into syringes, inhaling, sniffing, injecting, each method tailored to the high they crave. Today we've come to the inner perimeter of Colombia to interact with the gang members and the gang leaders themselves, and then find out from them the engagement or their act of taking in illicit drugs, what brought them here, and if whether or not they are aware of the consequences or the repercussions. 50-year-old Patrick is the president of the ghetto. For 32 years, he has been into drug peddling, moving from one ghetto to another, but now stays permanently with his friends at Colombia. Usually the most feared and highest of the crew, he oversees all operations from who gets which corner to smoke, to settling disputes over stolen slippers and missing sachets of weed. His cabinet, a circle of addicts and dealers who nod vigorously to whatever he says.
My own 5, my warrior, my mireu. Banana 5.
For how long, Enna, was I say, or shall say, drugs?
I'm chain drug on 93.
1993.
93, I'm chain drug.
How many years in your company?
Cover 30 years. I checked 2 years. I checked.
drugs no eyeden na urem.
I done for drug there so be train ade bia person train a wo be say bia ya done for.
Na me bisa say drugs ben ni niema ben na wotimi fa.
Menum red. Menum bru. Menum cookie. Menum apatesi. Menum wi. Ade bia bru bia me bia.
Ono ma den na eyo e na ade ntikra na ono.
Ono ma anete wa bra bono so ma wo ankasa wo hawa wo wiase no. Se wo obura hawo no dada. Adna wo me hawo kakraka. Enti se wonam na wonum bia so why busa.
In the ghetto, they have leadership, and then the hierarchy is very much important that you cannot skip. The ghetto leader himself is here, and he takes them through everything that they have to do, the regulations of the ghetto, and the ghetto president is also here. But the leader operates and gives out the drug. Let's interact with him. Ghetto leader.
But you make sure say obi fire ensign free baby emura ade nim a be haye
acheche de wo nyina che we ye den
so a obi won hu say ensuo enye hwe e so say cigarette ya twa na we so e ma no oba bi wo no ma say bi uni ni hia ujimu say oble yeso ma ne pe pa. Yes, so you to be more bad now. What you know, say game night day. Akoso, and we say, your name was already as a book. We are your many politics. Adriane, we say me and be a didi, and I had a woman.
Knowing the repercussions of his action, he is worried about young people abusing drugs. He shared an advice.
No more teen for no. Teen for now, mobile and man, and your man going, man, going is dangerous. A pan who free fee on a cocoa from my music and draw 5 CD of mammy good idea. When I'm to me, slow my button, we are moment in mount. A foot on Tamano, when they my no. Yeah, I'm far. Me say I cry, me say, me say, me super, and a program, me soon. Kubolo life it be them slow mo tramadol drug we and sandy and makotin bia any circumstances bia them the nyamidin slow mo de ma mintu me chewe no na anyes as a we ne shemintin me amini them slepa nyamu nyina me say obi adwuma nchi obi akono de me dem si menye no nti menye no na America no say wunya no ya. But the man say was over manyano who say Oma. Nation Munyam Timber show my men Oma and Uniam.
A major police swoop takes us back into the belly of the beast, the drug selling point of Tinker Island, which also serves as the home for some of the addicts. This den has become breeding grounds for hooliganism, crime and violence. Meet Vera, a young woman whose youth has been swallowed by addiction and is currently serving as one of the masters in the den. She is only 26, but the wear on her face tells a story of hardship far beyond her years. Night after night, she sells her body to buy the very substance that is killing her slowly.
In Fiesa no wa Tinker Island.
Yeah, me one day for 3 years.
Why ne do ra no say?
Me sina my bia na metena ne nche. Fine. No de me ochiche me wura.
Anope eniama be na wa fasa.
Oh, me sorry nche dey by. Tani me dey macho. Tai.
Honam te wo sen anope.
Wo de nya ne nko ade a hona metwetwe. Wo beti pain. Oh, body mu.
Edin be no mo dinimu.
Vera.
Vera, wow.
Ma back.
O ma me no papa we.
O ma me no papa de o mo ni wade.
Na ede na wunye sika de beto enwe. Wo ye adwuma.
Oh. Enya adwuma de ba oba de. So de be bokro no de. Oh.
Ekwan be so na afa so de nyesika.
Me say wo de be kwa ko oba de untimi ko wiale. Ese bia e ma be do wa na say onene ye together. Onu betima to bia de. amount. Apart from that, no team can say Okobokrono, Obadian, Kono Fatal.
DSP Godwin Ahianyo is the Ashanti Regional Police PRO.
The command has resolved to do or plan to undertake is forming a team, as in getting our men to be on the ground. So there's a possibility that the FPU base will be created. They will have an FPU base where our men will be there 24/7, so that they ward off these criminals and these users of these illicit drugs.
Now, it is a very big place. It is more of like a community on its own. That is what Tenka Island looks like. Now, you can see a gentleman who has taken lots of drugs. As a matter of fact, he's asleep. You can see some of them, the addicts all over this place. Even on their refuse dump, you can see substances. Some wraps are here, matches, cigarettes. And we've even spotted some items suspected to be cocaine, what they call the tie. And anybody you see here is an addict.
The Ashanti Regional Director of the Narcotics Control Commission, Samuel Yeboah, provides a sobering account of the country's escalating drug crisis. He highlights the proliferation of illicit substances such as cannabis, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, MDMA, and codeine, which have been seized in significant quantities between 2021 and 2024 alone.
When we're talking about substances abuse, if you're talking about those that are being trafficked into the country, they are basically cocaine, heroin, and sometimes methamphetamine. But I must say that when we are talking about substances abuse, there are so many substances people are abusing in the country. Okay, now I think what is popular now is red. I mean the opioids. You find it almost everywhere. Okay, apart from that, we know that something like because it is grown here, unlike cocaine and heroin that are produced outside and brought into the country. Okay, these things are here. And then we also have an issue with some drugs we call synthetic drugs. I mentioned methamphetamine, for instance. Okay, we've realized that especially some of our neighboring countries, they have these clandestine labs, and some of them have been able to come into the country and establish some of these labs.
He added that 70% of drug addicts impounded so far are youth of school-going age.
Most of the people who use drugs, per our records, about 70%. Okay, the statistics that we have, about 70% of people who use drugs are the youth.
I have come to the psychiatric department of the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital to speak to a specialist psychiatrist, Dr. Adwopepra Amomensa.
Substances are basically anything that can do that. So, in essence, things like food, things you do for enjoyment and all that, they help your brain to produce something called dopamine. Okay, and it makes you feel good. So these substances are, in a way, chemicals that are able to also make your body produce those things. So you get addicted to that kind of high feeling.
While showing me some of the addicts undergoing mental treatment, she explains how the uncontrolled addiction affects the lives of numerous individuals daily.
A lot of people get introduced into substances when they are their earlier ages. Okay, so around 13, 14, 15. Also because the adolescent's brain is more malleable.
Veronica, not her real name, is one of the addicts receiving treatment at Cath. She got hooked to drugs after her ex-boyfriend introduced her to it in Accra. Under the condition to keep her identity anonymous, she tells me how it all started.
was through my ex-boyfriend. I was at Accra, and he was also a driver to one politician. So like the girl was having money. So anytime like I go there, we feel like we're having sex. Just want to get high. And when I started with cigarettes. That's for more white, not knowing like you just mixed the cigarettes with the drug. So anytime I just take the cigarettes, it look different. If I just get out from that side, from his side, I go and buy myself my own cigarette, that more white. I take it, the taste also looks different. So one day I asked him, what's inside the cigarette that I used to give me? He said, oh, it's this. It's cocaine. It seems I took it for 2 years.
In a very sober mood, she admits that the recovery process hasn't been easy.
Hey, suffocation. What was it? The way I'm suffering, you can ask the madam, the doctors, and the patients around here. I don't sleep at night. And even there's some fusion, if they put it on me, I will cry throughout before the fusion will just went up. It's like there is a sore inside my body. So anytime the fusion gets to my body, then they just start to itch me.
Kenneth Edukwachi is a pharmacist in Kumasi. He explains the essence of drugs such as opioids and how it leads to addiction.
Medication that are given for moderate to severe pain. Yes, so after the person is done with, let's say, the pain management, when you are taking opioids help with the release of something called dopamine. So dopamine release causes euphoria, causes pleasure, causes excitement, and after the pain has subsided, maybe they experience the fact that there were some pleasure or excitement when taking these medications. And I'll go ahead and take it. I'll continue taking it because of the pleasure that it's giving me.
According to him, there is a significant surge in the purchase of opioids among young people, especially on the streets, indicating the essence of regulations.
These drugs are deadly and we have to be careful. We have to get a regulation to help us regulate these drugs very, very well. Very, very well. Because there are people on the market who are selling it without any knowledge of the opioid. We call them opioid naive people.
The Over-the-Counter Drug Sellers Association has started a campaign against pharmacies engaging in the sale of hard drugs. National President Alhaji Hassan Kabo is worried about the illicit use of drugs amongst the youth and the continuous sale of these hard drugs in pharmacies.
I pledge today with all my members in Ashanti region, numbering close to 4,000, that we shall never ever sell these opioid drugs, Tramadol, Red, and so on and so forth. We will never ever sell it. And we hope with this pledge, all the members who abide by it.
Acting Registrar of the Pharmacy Council, Michael Kudubon, has noted that while these opioids are legitimate medication for moderate pain, their abuse is a significant concern.
The opioids are not bad medications. They are meant for moderate to mild pain. But then, like I indicated, if it's abuse, that is where the problem is. So to wake up to find out that people are using the medication not for medical purpose, but for recreational purpose, it is worrying. Because what it therefore means is that if we exhaust all the medicine in the hospitals, then you and I, when we find ourselves in the hospital one day, where we need those medications for medical purposes, we will not get. So it's a worrying concern for all of us.
He's advocating for a complete stop in the sale of opioids.
So we want to drum home the message that not only should they not stock the product, but they should also be advocates of life, because abuse of tramadol and all the opioids is tantamount to death. So we want to ensure that they understand their limits, they understand their role in the fight against the abuse.
The Ashanti Regional Director of the Food and Drugs Authority, John Lai Ode-Teti, says the FDA is collaborating with relevant agencies to curb the illegal importation of opioids. He acknowledged the issues with misuse and unregistered imports.
We are collaborating with the relevant stake agencies to ensure that we clamp down on the misuse and the illegal importation of such medicines. It must be stated clearly that tramadol is not a poisonous product or banned, just that the misuse and the fact that some come in illegally and for that matter are not registered with the authority is what we are drumming home.
But the big question is, who supplies these drugs to the consumers?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. I see like we people we used to buy those things. We are insane. Because going to buy something is wrapped. You don't know what's inside. You don't know the quantity. You don't know how it is. You just take money, go buy.
While this doesn't really answer the question, the Ashanti Regional Director of NACOC, Samuel Yeboah, underscores the role of neighboring countries in this crisis, noting that Ghana has become a transit point for drugs produced elsewhere.
Recently, we've been making some arrests at the Kotoka International Airport. I must say that, this is one of the indicators that point to the fact that drug trafficking is on the increase, because the more people try to cross the airports and they are arrested, it just tells us trafficking is on the rise.
Dr. Jones Opokuwari is a criminologist at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He has spent years studying the interplay between crime and societal decay, and now he's raising an urgent alarm on how such abuses of drugs contribute to crime in the society.
I mean, studies have always found a positive, correlation between use of illicit drugs and crime, especially robberies. Okay, there are so many research within the crime literature that establish this link. So whatever the women are saying on the ground and the people are saying on the ground may be true, because always, sometimes, criminals will need some, form of boosters, as it were, to be able to carry out the kind of activities that they want to carry. So, for instance, if it's about robberies, some of them have to be high to be able to execute the kind of things they want to execute. Because if you look at them, maybe naturally, if they are supposed to operate with their natural senses, they may not be able to carry out the things they want to do because those operations are mostly very deadly.
70% of the youth are estimated to be consumers of illicit drugs. Think about that number. Think about the potentials being consumed by these shadows. This isn't just a story about drugs. It's a story about survival, desperation, and the urgent call for a future where hope, not addiction, is the most potent force.
It's not good for any young one to get in contact with this. You understand? Yeah, so what I can say is everyone should abstain. Any youth should abstain from drugs, because illicit drugs is not good for mankind to use.
The question remains, how do we reclaim our youth from this unyielding grip? How do we turn the tide before these shadows engulf an entire generation, if we can't even identify the ideal faces behind the supply of these drugs?
With us here on the AM show today, we talk about this cancer this canker that's eating very deep into the fabric of our society, deadly doses. And this morning we're joined by Alexander Chimberima, Deputy Director, Narcotics Control Commission, and as well Dr. Albert Seduhia, Specialist Psychiatrist, Kolibu Teaching Hospital. And a little later we shall be joined via Zoom, Clinical Health Psychologist, Peter Amadou. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on the show.
Thank you. Welcome.
Well, I definitely will start with you, Deputy Director. Have you heard about hubs such as the Tinker Island, Colombia, and how common are they?
Yeah, well, good morning to your viewers and good morning to Doc as well. I know about them. I can't deny that. I don't know about them. Yeah, so we've done some works over there, but for the nature of our job, we don't just strike immediately. We get to know that this spot is here. Then the next morning you are there striking. No, we don't do that. We do some kind of intel on them because mostly we believe that the Tinker Island, for instance, where I know, if you go there, you reckon that 90% or 98% of the people are users.
Okay.
But there's a percentage that are the traders. So if I should go after those who are selling it to you, you will not get, there will not be anything called Tinker Island.
Okay.
So that is always our target, to look out for people who are behind it, those who are bringing the drugs there to sell to the so-called intermediary people, or whatever name they call them, who then, take it down to the users. So I can say that there are some people on our radar.
Okay. But
at the appropriate time, we'll get to them.
Let me stay with you a little longer. How common or prevalent are these ghettos for the purpose of our discussions? Are they very prevalent, or you just have small numbers of them, but many people in the very small ghettos? Which
okay, so they are small ones. But for instance, Tinker is quite big because I have a video of Tinker and looking at the size of Tinker isn't that big, the land. Okay, but the patronage is quite huge. So that is the difference. You may find a very small place, let's say the entire premises of Joy, your two buildings, which is not that big, okay? But the number of people that you find there is the issue. You go there and before you realize you are seeing a huge number of people, and mostly the youth. These are people whose ages will range from, let's say 16, 17 to at most 35, 40. These are the people that you find there doing all sort of illicit activities. But we act in a dual way or in a subtle way in that those who are core users, what we do is that we get them, we have our rehab unit or counseling unit that deals with rehab centers, and then the educational units that do a lot of education to see how best we can assist those who have been affected hugely and then bring them back to their normal life.
And again, I will stay with you a little longer because, of course...
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah. Despite the numerous activities by NACOG, we've seen some of the activities that you have done, a few distraction of drugs just last week as well, over here in Accra. What has been the challenge, you say, for you? What's been the gap?
Okay, so the challenge, it can't be one item. There are some operational challenges and some logistic challenges as well. But to the best of my knowledge, the president is poised to assist us to fix most of these challenges. And a lot, some of them, in all honesty, have commenced. So I can say that gradually we are, going through them, getting them fixed or sorted one after the other. One of them, as by the time that we took over, was issues of vehicles. It wasn't that much, but at least we've gotten some fleets in the last few months from government. There are other few logistical challenges. One thing that I always call for, which anytime I appear on the media, is for us to have a decentralized K9 unit. Because now our K9 unit is centered only in the HQ in Accra. But I wish we have them in, for instance, the western area, the northern part, then the central or the middle belt, i.e. Ashanti region, specifically. And not that when we are going for operations, we have to move our dogs from here to Massey, from here to the north, or from here. No. I mean, even by the time you get there, the dogs are even tired. So sometimes you have to wait for, so you have to go like maybe a day before the actual operation day, get them to rest or something before you can, take them to the scene to conduct any operation. They have to be doing the sniffings to detect where the cocaines are being hidden, among others. So there are some few challenges, but like I said, I know that we are doing our best. The leadership that we have now, led by our Brigadier General Mante, who is the Director General, alongside the two deputies who are deputizing him, we are doing everything humanly possible to make sure that we can get, solutions to these things. But aside that, one other challenge is that, you see, people, permit me to say, they are recalcitrant people who are poised to be making money from these illicit activities and close their eyes on the dangers that comes with it. That's one key challenge. Tinker Island wouldn't have been there if there were no people who are making millions from selling cocaine and other things to them. There would have been these ghettos if people haven't made it their business. And do you know the funny thing? The funny thing is that these people do not allow their own wards or children to engage in this things. There's a guy that we arrested, and I asked him a very simple question. Looking at you, you are not that old. You do have kids? He said, yes. Will you allow any of your children to partake in this activity that you are doing? He said, no. So to you, it is wrong. And you don't wish any of your children to be part of it. But you think that, permit me to say, I am that dumb that for me, my children should be, going to use them for you to make money. And that is why I always say that I'm not against anybody's business. But those who have decided to use illicit drug activities as a business will always see us to be a thorn in their flesh because we go after them whoever they are.
I'd go to Dr. Asedo here. When I come to you, I want you to let us in on the value chain, how it looks like, where usually it will come from, where it stops before distribution and the last end, the end user, and then the role of the small chemical license stores, the role they are also playing. Dr. Asedo here, so in your years of practice, and from experience, how would you say that the abuse of substance is linked to some sort of psychiatric or mental health? What kind of link can we find?
Okay, so the issue about substance addiction, it's more complicated than any approach at the national level that we are handling it now. That's the truth. It's a bi-directional affair. So it's not about the substances causing mental illness or whatever. The substances used increases your chance of possibly developing mental illnesses. And on the other side, underlying unrecognized and undiagnosed mental illnesses increases your chances of using substances. So let me explain. People have a lot of unrecognized, undiagnosed mental illnesses that they may be battling silently. Commonest among them will be depression, anxiety. Some may be going through ADHD. And these days we are diagnosing a lot of ADHD among people from 20, 30 and above, when it should have been diagnosed earlier. So we miss the chance to diagnose them earlier. Maybe the school system, the teachers were not trained enough to be able to pick up the symptoms. So people who have these underlying mental condition, mental health challenges, have a higher risk of using substances. Why? Because they use the substances to kind of self-medicate. That is what we need to know. So, and substance addiction, the approach we are using now at the national level is very stigmatizing. All right? We've had a lot of these talks, over the past 6 months. substance addiction is a disease. When an asthmatic has an attack, you don't blame him for the attack. You don't blame him because you know he's been exposed to maybe a strong scent, pollen, so heat or whatever. If somebody has high blood pressure, ends up having maybe a heart attack or having a stroke, you don't blame him necessarily. You attribute it to the disease, right? So addiction has a high genetic component, 50%. Anyone you see who is addicted to any substance of abuse has a 50% genetic predisposition, which means that two people can begin. A lot of people experiment with drugs. A lot of people, far more than we are saying. But a lot more stop using at will. They are able to stop at will. But there are people, when they start, they can't stop. Why? Because, like my colleague in the video was saying, activities of normal living, like say eating, drinking water, resting, having sex, these make sure our lineage continues, right? These are natural stuff. I mean, eating, drinking water, resting, having sex, all these things releases a chemical in the system called dopamine.
Okay.
Now, when you start using substances, it works in a part of your brain, all right? Let's say the reward system. It hijacks it, which results in production of that same dopamine, but the level of production is highest, about 5 to 10 times what you produce if you have sex, what you produce if you eat food, what you produce if you rest or if you socialize. So it hijacks the system to a point where you prefer the higher doses of dopamine released from the substances to the normal activities like eating, having friends, and working and all those. So it's called saliency, where you prefer to use the drugs to have the higher dose of dopamine than going to work, than eating, than engaging in whatever it is you normally would have. So the drugs hijacks the reward system, takes over. So you see people who are addicts. They don't like eating, taking care of themselves. They don't want to go to work. They miss jobs. They can even miss job appointments. They can miss interview appointments. They can miss very important family meetings. Because that has the feeling that they get when they use the drugs, because of the higher release of the dopamine, is what has taken over their system.
So you say that a person who gets easily addicted must surely be predisposed. They must have that genetic gene.
That is what I want us to get clear.
Okay.
It's gone beyond, 40, 50 years ago, it was assumed to be a moral issue. Was assumed to be, you don't have self-control. Why can't you just stop? 40, 50 years ago, the campaign used to be say no to drugs. It was found out later that has never been effective.
Interesting.
So it's not about just say no to drugs, and the person will stop. No, it goes way deeper.
Okay. In your facility, for example, in your consulting room, say in a day if you have 10 young people come there and you go through your diagnosis, all of it, out of that 10, how many of them are likely to have any form of mental illness that is linked to substance abuse, out of the 10?
You see, that would be jumping the gun.
Okay.
I am not able to always link a direct link between the drug use and the mental illness. Okay. Rather, sometimes the underlying mental illness is what is making them use. Oh. And sometimes, that's what I said earlier, it's complicated, much more than a lot of people are talking about. So sometimes somebody may have schizophrenia. Most people who are living with schizophrenia may use cannabis or other illicit drugs because of the symptoms that they have with the mental illness. So the cannabis use, the substance abuse, is what helps them somehow cope negatively with the symptoms of the underlying mental condition. Somebody with ADHD has a higher risk of using cannabis or other substance of abuse. So until we take full history, we don't want to just jump and say, 5 people or 10 people, which means we are trying to stigmatize them. People are pointing fingers. Now, the attention is on the ghettos. And again, I'm happy that Deputy Director made it clear. It's not about raiding the ghettos. There are people who are controlling the ghetto. Some of them don't even use the substances. They make money from the ghetto.
Most of them don't use.
Most of them, so the dealers don't use. Now you go and raid those who are having a disease of addiction. Those who have, in quotes, comparatively, somebody having an asthmatic attack. And you are looking at the person who is introducing the people to the strong sense that's making them have the asthmatic attack. So what Deputy Director is doing is the use of intelligence. You understand? What I mean intelligence, like information gathering to approach a situation in a smarter way not just through hard work.
Okay.
So there's somebody who's controlling the ghettos. If you get that person and they are 100% allegiant, in your video you saw there's a president in the ghetto. They all respect that. If the president say, let's stop, there's a higher chance of them stopping. If the president say, let's go for a meeting, they won't listen to you, but they will listen to their boss. So if you target the dealers, you achieve much more than raiding the people who have the disease. So we need to understand that substance addiction is a disease. It's not moral failure.
Interesting. Do I have Dr. Amadou with me? Kindly unmute if you can hear me. I'm interested in how, as young as 12 to about 35, are the most users of the substance. What has contributed to this?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished viewers, and good morning to my colleague panelists. And I want to appreciate the work of narcotics and then the psychiatry on board, and for the good work that has been done. I, in a few years, have worked with narcotics control from the northern part, and I must admit they do a lot of work that we need to support in all directions. And as professionals, we all have done our bit, and our psychiatry have put it right, that we need to tackle the issue holistically. Yes, so if you look at the question that you have asked, if you look at what is happening among the young people 12 to 35, according to the data that we have and then the reports that we keep getting, you see, among the young people, so if you take it in terms of development, youth or young people have their brain fully developed for the best of active activity around the 20s, 24, thereabout. And as young as 13, 14, as we are talking about now, these are individuals often put under pressure, what we call peer-related pressure, issues of curiosity, and sometimes the influence of the environment can really affect young people engage in substance use. So when you come to take issues of peer pressure, when you talk to young people on the number of them that we have engaged in our activities over the period shows that the young one wants to belong. And they are in schools, they are at the communities. And so when you don't align with them, they may want to ask you to stay away. And sometimes young people want to be part of a certain system. They want to feel the high with a certain system. And so out of the inability to make proper judgment, then that is what happens. Then they align with people that are misleading them into behaviors that are, that are not appropriate, like acquiring, or substance use. Then we also have the issues of curiosity. What is this all about? The issues of getting high. How does it feel like? Then it can be one other driving force that can push a lot of young people. We did a research quite recently, and one of the things that we also found was issues of parenting. Many times you will want to take a little step when you want to explain this, because we have very good parents that have their children who are also in this situation, coming from the issues of peer pressure and the curiosity issues. But the reality is that in my environment where I operate, Northern Region, Tamale specifically, they are midnight, you find young ones as young as 8, 9 years, roaming outside, being influenced by others who are older than them. And so in effect, what it means is that some issues have to do with this, the breakdown of family system, the support systems that are not available. This leads to the challenges that we are talking about. And then as part of the abuse, the fueling of abuse among young people has to do with the, I have often mentioned that it's an issue of what is happening around, what they see, the people that are in their environment, and then in their school systems. And these are the challenges. And the majority of the people or the young people that we have come across are in school. And it's always disheartening that you can go to your school and you can find young people who are trading. And like we saw in the video, it is not just at the ghettos, they are happening in communities that are really not the ghettos, I mean, informal situations, like the schools. And they have their bosses. And as they really said, the truth is that if we want to deal with the issues of substance, then there must be a holistic approach.
Okay. Well, please stay with me and I'll come back to the studio. Mr. Chimberma, so you've heard both the psychologists and psychiatrists as well. You want to respond to that before you let me in the process? Because it looks as if it is quite simple and people are asking why do they have access to it quite easily? And it looks like there's a whole chain.
For the chain, I mean, every crime has a chain. That it follows, or that leads to that very crime. So there's no way you can rule out the chain system. But I think I share the positions of my two colleagues, especially with the very last speaker. I didn't get his name. But
Dr. Madu, yes.
Okay, Dr. Madu, yes. So all right. So in fact, there's something that he mentioned that which I have seen or have been informed not too long ago. There was one of the districts in the Eastern region that a secondary school Form 1 student came to school for the first time with tea bag. So you see the issue of curiosity. Under what circumstance would someone going to Form 1 be like, I think,
between
14,
15, maximum 13 to 15.
Exactly, not more than 15 years.
Yeah.
For SS1. And this boy or this child, what will prompt him to take in the tea bag form to school? But for some kind of due diligence checks that was done in the school, he would have had it within him or with him and possibly share with other people.
Definitely.
And you see, they know best. Every other person has the way that his system or her system works.
Yeah.
So what will make somebody go crazy? Somebody will take it and then will be very calm. The next minute you'll be home, they will bring your child to you. What happened? And they will inform that, a friend, his housemate, his dog, a dormitory mate or whatever, gave him this to drink and then it ended up becoming this. These are the things that we are encountering. Move on to the tertiary level. It's been getting worse. Okay? But it all boils down to the fact that some people have decided to make this their business.
Are these powerful people?
Who they are, I don't even want to know. Because one thing the one position that we have taken now at NACOC is that who you are is not an issue. Once we get you, and those who have been with us for some few days now, they will attest to the fact that once you enter there, nothing gets you out, except the court.
How easy or difficult is it for these drugs to be smuggled? So these are drugs. At what point do they become illegal? Is it at a point when they have entered the country?
No.
Or is it a point when people are taking it?
No. So, depend on the kind. For instance, cocaine, cannabis. Let's say now the red that they are mostly using. Okay, 3. Let me use these 3. Now let me start with the third one, which is red. It's tramadol. Tramadol is a permissible drug. They know. I mean, physicians and whatever. They know. But the permissible milligram is either 50 or at most 100. And that is for someone who is in some kind of serious pain, maybe an accident or something, or I've gone to take off the teeth or whatever, and then it's going through some serious pain, needs this to cure or to, minimize this pain that he or she is going through. So the doctors or the physicians will recommend or prescribe this for you to go and buy. So it's allowed. But anything beyond the 100, it's illegal. It's not permitted. So it's not about you bringing it in. The very point is that the moment the thing is above 100, even if it's 100.00001, it is not permitted. But you find people bringing 150, 225, 250, name them, 120 and others. They are bold to import this into the country. And you know the funny thing? They will tell you that, this thing is going to Niger. It's not even coming to Ghana. But the question is...
Inter-border trade.
No, but I don't even believe those things. I tell them to be lies. The point is that if you put a container on a car and you are going, somebody will say, there's a tracking system in the car, so you can track where the car is going to. But you track what happens to the goods inside the container? You don't track. So the container, yes, is on the car, 40 feet, 20 feet, is loaded onto a flatbed vehicle. And it's going towards the Nigeria that you are talking about. It gets to, let's say, after Offensive area. And maybe the car, something happens to the car. Most of the time, if you are driving on these highways, you see these cars parked by the roadside, they are saying that there's a fault. So if there's a fault, your system is just reading to you that, okay, the car has a fault around, let's say, Usino. But you know what's happening to the goods in the car at Usino? You have no idea. They can secretly go and discharge these things. So I don't believe those things. That is not to defeat the fact that goods doesn't go to Nigeria. No. But I'm saying that some people use this as a cover to get these illicit drugs in and find a way of getting them back into the system and then sell it to people because they know that they have, customers or people who will approach them and call for this particular types of, red or tramadol to go and use and sell it to these ghettos, among others. And now, it's funny. You mentioned chemical license shops.
Yes.
These people, some of them, guess it's from some pharmaceutical companies, and then or some individuals, and then go ahead to sell it to people. But do you know something? What they know that is wrong, you will not find them displaying it on their counters.
Okay.
So they hide them in boxes, in bags, or whatever within the shop. When you go there, you will never get one to buy. But when they look at you, why would this fine lady come and ask for this thing to buy? They will not sell it to you. But they have some particular or some category of people that they sell it to.
Okay.
So when those people go there, for them they can get it to buy, and they come and use.
So these users know where to buy.
Exactly, and they know even whom to approach them. I mean, there was a case that we arrested one pharmaceutical shop in Accra here and closed it down. When our intel guys went there, they felt there was a guy who was in there, and they realized that particular guy, when people who want to buy it comes there, they don't go to him. Not knowing the guy was a new person or attendant who had been there for like 2 weeks. So there was this lady who is the known one that when they go to her, she's the one who is able to give it to them. So they know whom to approach and whom to get it from. Because it's their star, it's their business. Now, what we do is that we've partnered with a pharmacy council. And I can say that within the last 2 months or so, we've closed down not less than 7 licensed chemical and pharmacies in different regions, Greater Accra, Eastern, among others. Because these were shops that we found them to be trading in this.
What happened to the people, the owners, or those who?
Oh, we arrest you, prosecute you, but you know that the license that you are using to operate is from Pharmacy Council. Okay. So we liaise with the Pharmacy Council, show them evidence of the closure and everything. They will go back to go and confirm it, and then proceed with the processes of getting your license taken away. Okay. So that's what we do with them. Now, the other chain or the other group is the cannabis people. Cannabis, again, it's quite funny. We are bringing up a law that is going to permit the planting of cannabis, but here people should listen carefully. The planting of cannabis is not for recreational purposes. It is for medicinal and industrial use. And even with that, the THC level that we are permitting by the law is 0.03. So anything beyond that, you have us to contend with. And even with that, we are making it a very strict system. Some people don't agree with whatever we are doing, but we know why we are doing that, because we have studied the system and know that if you give somebody an inch, before you realize the person is taking like 10 years. So you have to always block any possible loopholes so that you don't get into a problem. That because you've legalized, because you've permitted, the planting, it now has been spread across all the length and breadth of the country, and that every other person is using it. No. So even with the planting for medicinal and industrial use, if you want a license, you must show that you have an off-taker. And that off-taker is ready to take your produce once you are done thoroughly. And then to be exported to that off-taker, for instance, maybe in England or whatever. And then they will take it and use it for whatever medicinal use. Or if you want to set up a plant, a production plant that you want to produce whatever kind of drug, well, why not? You are welcome to do so in Ghana here. So it is going to be highly restricted. But even before the law, people are into serious plantation of cannabis in this country. But for them, again, we know where some of these things are being planted. And we know the kind of things that they are doing around their farms. But we run an intel-led operations. So when necessary, we strike you. Sometimes it will look like we are not aware that you are doing these things. So in your mind, you will think you are free. But what you don't know is that every step of you, we are aware. And we don't just strike. We strike you when we think that it's very ripe to strike you.
I'm tempted to ask what time is right. I'm tempted to ask what time is right, because if a person is planting, if it is planting,
yeah.
What does it look like when you say it's right?
Okay, so for instance, if you go to destroy the person's plantation, the possibility of he or she planting again is not that difficult.
Okay.
They can easily do it. But while the person has finished, imagine you have finished, you've done all your harvest and everything, packaged. Now you are going to sell. And something happens to you in between the lines. It's the most painful thing that they can ever tell you.
All the hard work.
Dr. Sodeya,
yes.
How easy or difficult has it been so far, especially with the facility? I like to be in your consulting room, especially in situations like this. Rehabilitations, the fight against it, the person walks in, whether they are a victim of it or whether they're abusing it. How easy has it been so far?
Okay, so for today, my aim here is to help to destigmatize the people who are addicted, who are addicted to substances, the illegal substances. For us to accept, if at least for the first time, as a nation, that they have an illness. They need treatment. They don't need punishment. It doesn't help. Research has shown that. Now, rehabilitation comprises of two modes. That's we have most of them who are addicted to most of these substances, opioids especially. It's highly, highly addicting. You will need a period of detoxification. Detoxification is where we help you, it's medication-assisted treatment. We help you ease the burden of the withdrawal symptoms. Now, let's go back. Now, when they start using the drugs and the dopamine gets released, after some time, they need more doses to feel the same. That is what we call tolerance, when you need higher doses to feel the same. So tolerance begins to set in, then they keep using more and more and more. So at a point, when they begin, it's impulsive use, where they use without thinking about the consequences. Now, when tolerance sets in, they get to the compulsive phase, where they use because they want to avoid withdrawals. So at that point, they don't enjoy using the drugs anymore. You heard the ghetto president saying that he regrets not listening to advice way back. You heard him say they need help, but he's still going to smoke today. He's still going to use the drugs today. The question is why? It doesn't make sense, right? But he's still going to use today. He knows it's bad, but the reason why he's going to use is because he's trying to avoid the withdrawals. Now, just to give you an idea of what a withdrawal looks like, especially with opioids, since we're talking about red, withdrawal, maybe you've had nausea, vomiting, loose stool, diarrhea before, right? So a typical opioid withdrawal, someone who's using high doses and suddenly stops. There's nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, joint pain, headache, you feel uneasy, irritable, all this happening and times 10.
Pushes you to go back.
Times 10. So nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, joint pain, headache, irritability, uneasiness, all these things happening to one person at the same time, multiplied by 10. Now, that is what they try to avoid when they go back using. Not because they enjoy using. That's why I say it's a disease. They don't go back because they enjoy it, because they just don't want to do the right thing. They want to avoid a withdrawal. So the first part of the rehabilitation is detoxification, where we admit you. Mostly, we admit you in the hospital and give you medication that ease the withdrawal symptoms. So that gradually you ease into semi-normalcy, where you get back to, okay, for the next 7 to 10 days on admission, you're no more using the drugs. We help you take care of the withdrawal symptoms. And through that process, we engage in what we call motivational interview to help you see the need for you to stop and go for help. It's not just about stopping. People may stop, but may not go for help. If you don't go for help, you're likely to go back.
Okay.
Now, so that's the first phase. Then the second phase is where you go for a proper rehabilitation. There are two phases, either residential or OPD, outpatient. The residential is extremely expensive, and Ghana, we don't have rehab facilities that much. The whole Kumasi, Central Belt and Northern, there's none. Accra, the most efficacious one is Pantine. It's almost full, always full. There's no space. I'm speaking on authority now. It's almost always full. There's no space for anyone who wants to go there today and be admitted. And then Accra Psychiatric Hospital, Korle Bu has the outpatient. But so we are not ready to treat the people who have the disease, but we are readying them. What are we going to do with them? Imprison them?
Good question. Finally, my time is actually up, but Dr. Amado, I have just a few seconds with you to tell me what we can do as a community, family, community, at least, in the fight against the use of these substances. Do I have Dr. Amado? Kindly unmute if you can hear me.
In the fight against substance abuse, you have rightly nailed it. What we need is a holistic approach from the family to the community to the state. And in the state, I will want to talk about the profession. I think Dr. Sodefia just hit it very right. As a country, it doesn't look like we are ready to handle the issues of addiction. But one arm that we have been using, the raging, is a disease, as he put it. You cannot begin to fight such and make a win. What we rather need is help. And the advocacy part of it is one of the things. And advocacy must begin from home, from the institutional level, from the community level, and by extension, the state level. And at the state level, I think our panelists from the narcotics nailed it. Again, what we need is our borders need to be checked.
Okay.
The unapproved borders is where the issues are.
If it is
a regular borders, things are being checked.
I promise we'll have to do a part 2 of this conversation. And so I'll give the last few minutes to Mr. Chimerima. Moving forward, what do you have to say to people who are aiding this act?
Those who are aiding, the message is very simple. It is on to you to stop now that you have not been caught. But if you decide to go the other way around and decide not to stop, no problem. But your day of reckoning will be coming. And that day, like I normally say, no amount of phone calls can save you. Once you are arrested, you can be whoever. But the day you are caught, it will shock you that nothing can get you out as you wish you are going out or you wish to go out. Now, the issue of borders, as my brother just noted, I agree with you that there are several unapproved routes that people are using, different modes to, bring in or take out these illicit drugs that we are mentioning. As an agency, we are supposed to be part of the border security or be part of the security operatives that runs the various borders. We are in most of the borders, but as it were, once you are closing here, the illicit ones are also trying to open their own one somewhere. So they keep on giving us different routes or different points to be covering. But with time, I'm very sure our numbers will get to the point that we can cover most of these unapproved routes and then be able to seal all these things. Then, again, with the rehab, as my brother was talking about, it's true. The cost of running these things is very expensive. So even, for instance, with Narcotics Control Commission as a whole entity of the state, we don't even own, a rehab center. It's mostly run by private individuals who are partnered with us to get, victims or people who are suffering from these diseases, as they put it, to be coming to them and then get support. The only part that we are able to play is to give counseling or to create a counseling unit to assist in counseling and then also assist in the education. And then when we find people who are ready to go through this rehab, we then give them out to the rehab centers.
Okay.
Then, lastly, one key challenge which I also wish to indicate is the cost of even running our operations. You go for one operation, by the time you come back, the amount of money you've spent is huge. Sometimes you spend like 50,000 to go for one operation and come back, even more. All because, and this amount can even be just like the day of the operation that you are going for the so-called key people who are behind it, because you've done all the intel. And the intel work that you have to do behind the scene, the cost is even different. Because you have to send these young men and women to go there, mix up with people, and do all sorts of things, be able to get these corporates. So it's not that easy. So we just believe and hope that, with the kind of medium that you are giving us, it will go down for people to get to know that. I'm glad that, for instance, as is mentioned, the president of the president on quote anyway of the ghetto, of the ghetto, and his team who have agreed that it is wrong for them to be doing that and that he accepts. they should also avail themselves to the people who are ready to support them, so that they can support them and help them to go off this thing that they are into.
So in a bit to destigmatize, right? We need to know what people use briefly.
Okay.
Then number one is genetics.
Okay.
It's not that they choose to necessarily. Number two is trauma, adverse childhood, and number three is underlying mental illnesses.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And the red is not sold in the pharmacies; it's in the ghettos. And people who are unassuming.
Some are sold in the pharmacies.
Only few.
We'll bring this conversation back.
The licensed chemical shop. I am saying this on authority because we have arrested people that are before court today.
That have sold, that are selling red.
Of course, so that one is on authority.
Well,
maybe we'll be affected briefly.
Well, I think this brings to the fore the conversation that we need to have a lot more and even beyond this. And gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the show. And thank you for staying this more on the show.
Well, let's have the next interaction here on the AM show. And we're talking about, digital assets. There's a summit coming up here called the Digital Assets Summit Africa. We want to know more about it, and we've been joined via Zoom by the organizers. We have Peter Frimpong-Manso. He is joining us here. Now, Peter Frimpong-Manso is the organizing team member of DASA 2025. Peter, good morning to you. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for inviting us to join you this morning, and a very good morning to your cherished viewers in Ghana as well.
Great. Do I have Professor Tonya Evans? Prof, do I have you?
Thank you so much for having me, and good day to you.
Okay. So Prof is a consultant, an author, and a renowned professor in intellectual property and new technologies, and a founder of Advantage Evans Academy. Grateful to you for joining. Now let's start from, where you are coming in on this particular forum. Why is this an important, forum to have? And what should people expect out of this forum?
Okay, so should I take that?
No, Doc should have it.
Oh, excellent.
Prof, yeah.
I proudly accepted the invitation to come and speak when Mr. Manzo reached out, because as someone who has spent over 25 years in law and intellectual property and new technologies, I believe that Ghana in particular represents the future of responsible digital finance. I've been quite impressed as I've been getting up to speed and learning as much as I plan to offer. I feel like I'm receiving quite a bit as well. But to really understand the positioning of the Bank of Ghana and Ghanaians using mobile money so much. And this is really the bridge, what the summit will be, the bridge between legacy finance and really the future of finance, not just locally. And Ghana certainly is leading the charge in that respect, but also integrating that internationally. So solving local problems with a global technology and lending my voice and my expertise to that task.
Okay. So Peter, she speaks about Momo, and Momo has become quite that huge in Ghana because the unbanked are really much on it. But the fraud that is associated with the Momo, is it one of the reasons, as Prof put it, as why you're putting up this particular summit?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I think we felt that there was a gap in here, which is, even though this phenomenon, the digital asset phenomenon, has taken greater shape within the global economy, we feel that Ghana as a country is lagging behind when it comes to that. And just to put things into context, you may be aware that the Bank of Ghana is actually preparing a legislation to regularize the operations of digital assets.
Yeah.
And you touch on a very important point to do with fraud in mobile money. We have assembled a great deal of expertise from cybersecurity background. We are privileged to have Dr. Anchibosia, who was the first Director General for Ghana Cybersecurity Agency on board. And these are the people who have the greatest deal of expertise in a way that they will be able to speak to the Ghanaian community and Africa as a whole. You explain the challenges and the risks that are associated with mobile money and when it comes to fintech, and to a larger extent, the new global phenomenon we are discussing about, which is the digital asset. So yeah, we've got an expert in place to help resolve some of these issues and bring to the fore the challenges that's are filled with this particular digital assets phenomenon.
So who are those we're expecting to be participants of this particular summit?
So this is a 2-day high-level 2-day summit happening between 29th to 30th of September.
Okay.
And we are bringing together policymakers, central banks, stock exchanges, financial institutions, blockchain innovators, and investors to shape the future of Africa's digital economy. Our theme is unlocking Africa's digital economy through regulation and innovation. So it is an event that is really bringing together the big players you can think of in this particular industry. And we believe that by putting this together, we are complementing the efforts that the Bank of Ghana is putting in place, and also trying to bring to the fore the lack of knowledge and understanding about digital assets as a whole. We are looking at over 560 million global circulation of these assets, and Ghana and Africa are really catching up. And honestly speaking, I think we are behind in a sense that places like Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa have already taken that bold initiative to put together legislations to regularize how this financial services product is operated. So yeah, we are looking forward to receive all those who are interested in this summit, and most of the delegates are drawn from the list I've already mentioned, which are central banks and others.
And if I want to register, what do I do?
You just go to thesummitafrica.com. So it's spelled this way: DASUMMITAFRICA.com. So thesummitafrica.com. Yeah. Thesummitafrica.com. Sorry.
Okay.
So it's just the initial D is the digital assets.
Okay.
So digital assets summitafrica.com. So thesummitafrica.com.
Okay. Let me bring in Professor Tonya now. Prof, I mean, once Ghana, the Bank of Ghana is trying to legislate how we go about our digital assets, and with your years of experience, what should you be must be the critical focus of the Bank of Ghana Asset and Banks on this journey?
It's really important that legislators and regulators really meet the moment for so many of the reasons that you said earlier, and also not just a catch-up, but the innovation. As was said, there's a lot of innovation going on the continent. In particular, I just think that Ghana is very well poised to build off of the existing infrastructure and to use an additional mode of transferring assets, international remittances, remote villages, and agriculture. There's so many other ways to instill confidence in the system and avoid some of the fraud that you've discussed as well. The other side of central bank digital currencies is sometimes the fear of a lack of privacy, in the same way when you have physical cash going between, exchanges and hands. And so having these conversations with legislators and regulators and banking officials to really meet the moment, to find that ideal balance between innovation and access, but also privacy and accessibility, and really, and finally, inclusion, which is critically important, because without inclusion and also a robust infrastructure on the continent, do we fall victim to some of the historical context of being quite vulnerable with local currencies that are relying on a global reserve. And so for all of those reasons, the innovation in Ghana is really important. And so my keynote will really address what risk readiness looks like and how to prepare for the moment.
We can't wait to have you at this particular summit to, learn from the things that you'll be sharing with us. But in your final words, what would you tell people who are watching us and who are eager to be part of the summit?
Well, I want you to be encouraged, because Ghana didn't just adopt mobile money. You're really on the path to perfecting it in a way that is a private-public partnership. And I'm going to be learning as much as I am teaching. But when you think about where we are today, there's so much to be gathered from the future. And this is a really important, almost inflection point, particularly on the continent, to be leaders as well. And so I'm excited for those who will participate and to join in conversation and in community, because it definitely takes all of us to move forward, and we'll go farther together.
I'm grateful to you. But let me bring in Peter Frimpelman. So Peter, what will be your concluding remarks?
Thank you. My concluding remarks will be, as to reiterate the point we've made and Professor has made earlier, that this particular digital assets has come to stay, and the better we try to catch up with it and take advantage that it brings, the better. And that is the message we are trying to send across. So we would encourage those interested to quickly register to be part of the summit. The numbers are getting very, very far filled up. So please go to thesummitafrica.com to register. And if you want to also partner with us to sponsor us, we are very happy to bring on board the corporate institutions for us to help shape all this conversation to make sure Ghana hits its rightful place in digital assets. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm grateful to you. Peter Frimpelman is an organizing team member of the DASA 2025, and also Professor Tonya Evans is a consultant, author, and renowned professor in intellectual property and new technology. She is the founder of Advantage Evans Academy. We can't wait to have both of you at this conference. Thank you for joining. Now, time for us to bring you something that will talk to you about what's trending with Jackie and her favorite partner. Do stay on.
Well, it's a brand new week, Derek. I think we missed the space.
Charlie, me, I'm excited to be here. I mean, it's about time we serve you the conversations that took over the timelines, from the laughs to the shocks, and of course, the pure chaos. And last week, a lot happened, from Sha Tawale, my own man, Papani, to the death of the third suspect in the immigration, murder case. But Jackie, what's up?
Well, a lot has been trending. So whether you missed it or you just want to relive the just sit tight, we've got you covered. And of course, I am Jacqueline Asmayabwa, doing this with my favorite partner,
Derek Elo Ashilevit. I mean, stay put, because we'll be bouncing on some of the ideas with MFA Adeti pretty shortly. Yeah. But to our very first story is a story you see right behind me. I mean, right behind me, which is the third suspect, hey, I'm about to say, in an immigration officer's murder case, dies mysteriously. Jackie, you were in court. What's the juice?
Sure. So on Friday, when we were in court, they brought a new suspect. That's the second suspect. So just a quick background story. The immigration officer, he passed away in July, mysteriously. They saw his charred body in Kwabinya. Wow. And the police came to do a press conference that they found a suspect with the name of Brightawe. And he is the main suspect that we saw. So when we went in court, we were expecting him. I mean, only him, but only for us to see a new suspect in court. So there are two suspects now. But then on Saturday evening, I had a call from someone telling me that there's a third suspect and he is mysteriously dead, with a lot of people on social media, asking questions, when, how, who is the person, and all that. But so far, two suspects, Brightawe, who is a friend of the deceased immigration officer. Then there's Thomas Ziga, who is the new suspect, and I think he is a land guard or something. We don't have much details when it comes to the new suspect, but let's see what social media has been saying when it comes to this case. So the first comment here, Suni says that now his spirits will continue the case there. May the Almighty have mercy upon us all and fight our battles for us.
Jackie, hold it there. Why is this person sort of excited that, the third suspect is dead?
So there was a voice note from the family of the deceased. And I mean, I think it emanates from the voice note where the family said that, should I use this word? They are happy. I don't know. They said it's not like they don't want to say that they are happy that the person is dead, but then they are happy that the suspect or the deceased is now getting vengeance. But then that's why people are excited. But I don't know if it's the right word, if you're excited or not. But then MFA, you know the story, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, what do you think about this?
Except that he's still a suspect and he's not, we don't know if he committed a crime or not.
Yeah.
It's a rather bizarre situation to hear that he's dead. Rather
in
bizarre.
police custody.
Yeah, in police custody.
That even makes it more bizarre.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who was the person? Now let's back to comments here. Rosita says that no be every money with a chopo. I'm very sure the guy is regressing now. Now this has to do with the lawyer in court. So the family, they nearly attacked the lawyer, MFR. It was serious. You know, the lawyer after the case was adjourned to 4th September. He was coming out, come and see. The words, we didn't need a whole lot of, and that video was trending on social media. That is why a lot of people are talking about this. Now, the last comment here, Iron Boy says that the attorney is simply fulfilling his professional duties. This does not necessarily imply a desire for the suspect's acquittal, as this is merely part of the judicial process. However, it is important to know that it's not every case this attorney must involve himself in. Some are risky.
I think I want our viewers to see the visuals of what actually transpired. So you see why everybody is sort of sympathizing with the lawyer in question on your screens. Charlie, very sad, you know. But guess what? This story is one that I personally love. If you followed me, you know that there's a guy I like to talk about. My own boy, my man, Pani. I'm talking about Charles Mensa Shatawale, the owner of the street. I'm not a street boy, but I simply love Shatawale because he has raw grassroots influence. I mean, why he was Jackie.
Anyways, that was Ayoko, so
great. So you saw it for yourself. That, I mean, I sort of
love
that. Part of the reasons he was released was because, Charlie, the numbers that were amassing at the place. So, as you see, the shutter cannot be shattered. Guess what? After my boy was released from Iyoko custody, he took to social media and made his first TikTok video. He was quite solemn. Even for me, I didn't sort of predict that for my man, you know, because I know him to be brave, you know. I mean, especially how he called out Raymond Archer. Hey, if you bring police, I will show you, you know. But this time around, he was quite solemn.
Yeah.
After that video, the next day, we see my boy, my man, Papa Ni Shatawale, go to the beach at Osu to do some cleansing under the directive of...
That was 2 days after, because he was released on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then Sunday morning, he goes to the beach to do the cleansing.
That's the cleansing. You see the visuals of that pretty shortly. After the cleansing, guess what? You guys thought we were scared of, you know, Lamborghini, we will not show up. Man, my boy showed up at the airport to pick his beloved, you know.
Yeah, with some lover boy vibes.
Lover boy vibe. I mean, see the video for yourself. We'll bring your comments after that. Charlie, my man, my boy, shot to Wally for that.
Did you see the purple Lamborghini though?
Yeah. Nana, I mean, he knows how to
we
show
pull up in that one.
Pull up in style.
We take our yellow, we bring the purple.
Bring the purple. I mean, that's my personal love for Shatawale. I can't hide it. What has social media been saying, you know?
Well, the first comment, let me get closer here. So, the last comment here, Melo says that lover boy Shatawale. Babyface says that I hope after this ritual bathing, your man won't go and sin no more. This is simple. Go and sin no more. Lost Prayer says that they are going to cut your head and you're trying to, and you're saying you need paracetamol for your head again.
So he is making the point that Charlie, the case is not over. Relax. You know, why are you celebrating quick enough? You know.
Yeah, after everything, then you go and cleanse yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that's my boy Shatawale right there. But of course, another story also made the headlines. And it's a story which is it's quite a murky kind of story, which is, of course, we know about the Augustus helicopter crash that happened. And so there's a by-election. But let me run you through what we've gathered, of course. This is exactly 19 days after the Augustus helicopter crash that claimed the souls of 8 fallen heroes, who were on duty, on national assignment. 19 days today after that. Guess what? It has been exactly 15 days after the death of Honorable Murtala. Why is he important? We're talking about Tamale Central, the constituency he represented in Parliament.
Yeah.
And so after 15 days after his birth, of course, it's a Muslim burial, so it had to even be delayed a little bit. Then what we found out is that the NPP, which we all saw as quite a shocking move, some felt was quite honorable, pulled out of the Tamale Central by-election because out of respect, and they also felt that the circumstances that happened, it would be quite some way to come and, campaign and all of that.
NPP take Tamale so that, NDC takes Tamale so that they would also focus on...
That was what they sort of assumed. But you and I know that, General Mosquito make the point that, Charlie, we will not give it to you. Then what makes the whole thing very murky is that in this same sensitive story where Honorable Murtala is in concern, 14 NDC aspirants show up to take his position. And this got people quite some way because, hey, Nana...
the person has been doing a lot of good work in the constituency, so obviously they also want to probably take up the mantle and all that. MFA. Yeah.
What about the point about decorum, that it shouldn't be that we are rushing forward, we're desperate, that's what some people feel.
Strangely, we're quite an interesting people in this country. If the NDC decided to say one person should go, the people are going to say, you denied us the opportunity to choose. So this is really democracy at its very potent point.
Yeah. You have a point. Of course, social media definitely got comments. Jackie, run a story.
All right, so EKG says that, Charlie, this live and so now squad, they wait for Baku.
Charlie.
And this... last comment here says that 13 times 40,000. Hey, people are rich in this country.
And the contest to that 40,000 is that's the nomination fees. So if
multiplied.
14, in fact, the update we just got, which my own political science lecturer, Professor Seidu Alidu, joining in, to contest. So it got people quite,
development right there.
There is a video we need to show you. Right, and this is a video that is quite, some way mechanic. Apprentice does this to the car. Watch the video.
Hey!
In fact, I was quite taken aback by this. Obi Mercedes-Benz. And this is the Alajo big gutter we're talking about. This morning, I peeped to check. The car has been taken out. But Charlie, I'm thinking about the mechanic who caused this havoc. Do you think he's a safe man tonight?
He's not safe. He's not safe.
People keep saying that, hey, catch on you and say, hey. That's what we have for you in the trends with me. Derek Elom Ashiliv, and I like to do with this amazing lady,
Jacqueline and Samar Yaboa.
We hand it over to the ever beautiful, ravishing, knowledgeable, intelligent MFA. Take it away.
Oh dear, thank you so much. That's some trends that you guys have brought us today on the show. However, thank you so much for making a date with us all the way from 6 a.m. till now. We'll come your way tomorrow again, the day after, the day after. But for more though, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Mamiesi Nyamicha Thompson comes up with Joy News Desk. Thank you for watching.